If you actually cared about your positions, you'd be willing to argue your points, but you're too scared to even hop on a panel. Yes, you are right. I am terrified of arguing my points, which is why I do it regularly on television, or when there's like, an audience that I consider to be relevant and interesting. I mean, no disrespect to the debate panel shows that currently exist. I mean, that's great. I'm glad that they're, doing their own thing, but I personally don't really think that any of that stuff is productive. I would rather just do what I've been doing, which has been demonstrably successful. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I literally debated the potential next governor of fucking Los Angeles, man. What the fuck? I mean, of California. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, motherfuckers be like, dude, you don't debate. It's like, yeah, okay, well, I literally debated the next possible, very likely next governor of California, okay? So, shut the fuck up.
The Congressional Black Caucus, Congresswoman Karen Bass is here to respond. Is it time to impeach the president? Plus, the issue is homelessness. Is the Democratic Party's approach a failure? Is it time for a radical policy change? Here to talk about that and more, our panel this week, Hassan Piker of the Young Turks and conservative talk show host Larry Elder. The issue starts right now.
This motherfucker's gonna be like, this dude is literally has a very high likelihood of being the next fucking governor of California. Okay, yeah, I wore those pants. I don't even give a shit.
Indoctrination, and I still have a few brain cells left. Hoping by next month they'll be disintegrated.
We'll give this a rewatch now that like he's running for governor in a little bit. Okay, but let's get started.
Love you.
All right. So as you all know, the Taliban is, I mean, they're fucking killing it. Okay, they are absolutely killing it. They are, their stock has never been higher. Okay, sorry, it's just the truth. They are literally just guided by Islamic scripture written by the CIA many years ago. They're guided by their belief in Allah, or whatever kind of interpretation that the CIA and Wahhabist fundamentalists have fed to them, that they've mainlined at this point. And they're killing it. They're absolutely destroying it. I mean, they have the third largest air fleet in the world now, a lot of which is decommissioned, but still, I mean, they're if there was a Talicoin, dude, if there was a Taliban cryptocurrency, I would say invest. This is not financial advice. I'm just kidding. There probably is a fucking Taliban cryptocurrency. These crypto bros are freaks, but I would be telling you, like, buy low, okay? Because it's only going higher from here. Let's keep going.
Coming in right now from Afghanistan, the Taliban.
Look at these motherfuckers flexing the gear that they got from us.
In U.S. armored vehicles and flying a Black Hawk helicopter. James Longman joins us now with more on this. Good morning, James.
I remember that you straight up told him his mom might still be alive if the U.S. had Medicare for all. Did I say that? I said a bunch of shit to him, dude. I told him in the break, I told him some shit during the break that was probably really fucked up. I was like, how do you feel about Jesse Lee Peterson and Candace Owens completely demolishing you from a branding point of view, because like they're just way more aggressive with white supremacist talking points than you are, and that's like the audience that you cater to. Like, how does that feel that you can't increase the dial of racism enough that you're getting owned by Jesse Lee Peterson and Candace Owens?
Yeah, good morning, Cecilia. They've now sealed their military victory, and so now for the Taliban, the propaganda campaign has got underway. They wasted no time in celebrating the capture of U.S. hardware left behind by the Afghan army and the U.S.
What the fuck is Ludwig doing there, dude? What the dog doing? What's Ludwig doing out in fucking Afghanistan, bro?
It's military. Take a look at this. This video shot by Taliban forces. It shows a parade of U.S. armored vehicles just outside of Kandahar Wednesday, and right on top of there, that is the black and white flag of the Taliban. And take a look at this. Flying overhead was a Black Hawk helicopter. Now, it's not clear how much US hardware is now in the hands of the Taliban, but certainly gaining control in the skies with this kind of equipment is a major boost for them. Now, taking power is is one thing, but keeping it is quite another. And the Taliban does hope to form a new government.
Let's run that back.
Flag Taliban forces. It shows of U.S. armored vehicles just outside of Kandahar Wednesday, and right on top of there, that is the black and white flag of the Taliban. And take a look at this. Flying overhead was a Black Hawk helicopter. Now, it's not clear how much U.S. hardware is now in the hands of the Taliban, but certainly gaining control in the skies with this kind of equipment is a major boost for them. Now, taking power is one thing, but
motherfucking mogul moves, baby. That's right. Get your money up, get your cake up, get your belief in Allah up. You know what I mean? Just fucking
1 year, yo, what a ride.
That's right, dude. Get this tally bussy. Taliban is selling the Humvees to Iran 100%. Why the fuck would they keep those dog shit vehicles, bro? They got 42,000 pickup trucks, some of which are Toyota Hiluxes, I assume. So they will probably keep those. Those are really easy converts to technicals. But as far as like the MRAPs goes, like the fucking MRAPs are dog shit, dude. They know that already. They've been fucking blowing them up nonstop. So they're probably gonna sell it off to like Iran or some other fucking country that has a lot of money, and you know, pop off.
Keeping it is quite another, and the Taliban does hope to form a new government.
Thank you,
a spokesman
Labelle37.
has said that they'll be announced in the next few days. There have been talks over the last 3 days. What is quite clear now is that there won't be any non-Taliban members as part of that government. Cecilia?
Yeah, James, there have been so many...
What? Dude, how the fuck do they learn how to fly that shit? Do they know Life Battlefield 4? No, dude. They have like... They have some people that are fucking... They have some people that are knowledgeable on how to fly. Like, we spent $80 billion training the Afghan security forces that, of course, joined arms with the Taliban, dog. So, obviously, there are people amongst their ranks that know how to fucking fly. Like, they at least have a couple people. It's a 40 million person country, you know what I mean? They're not like... They're not fucking Luddites, bro. I mean, they kind of are, but like... You know what I mean? There's people that we ended up training that were supposed to fight against the Taliban, of course. Yeah.
Questions about that U.S. drone strike after the attack on the airport there in Kabul. 10 civilians were killed in it. But the Pentagon, they were pushed on this. They're not backing down. They're defending what happened there.
No, that's absolutely right, Cecilia. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mike Milley, has called the U.S. drone strike righteous. It took out at least one ISIS-K member.
Totally, dude. So righteous, dude. Super righteous, bro.
And he said that there was intelligence that suggested that ISIS-K had another plot. He called that attack imminent, and that is why the U.S. carried out that strike. Cecilia?
James Longman, thank you so much.
I love when our woke General Milley, because he's a pussy, right? Because he loves like critical race theory. Our woke General Mark Milley is still doing general shit. He's just like, yeah, we killed a fucking entire family, including like, you know, 6 or 7 kids. Man, what a success, dude. What a profound success. If that doesn't tell you we had no business being there, and that, like, you know, it's incredibly good that we ultimately are evacuating Afghanistan, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, last week's events, everything that occurred over the past 2 fucking weeks, right? Once the evacuation was finalized, is a perfect example of why we needed to get the fuck out of there and as quickly as possible, okay? 13 soldiers died. If you don't give a fuck about, like, the 100+ Afghan civilians that got killed, some by the ISIS-K attack. Don't even get me started on like the inception of ISIS too. That's a whole different story that also you know, is an Ouroboros that rolls back and comes back to us too. But ISIS blows up a fucking truck inside of Kabul, okay? And then 100 people die. Some of them die because of the gunshots by the United States military. 13 soldiers fucking die. No reason for any of these people to die. Not a single reason for any of these fucking people to die. All directly a result of United States involvement in the region that dates all the way back to not even Operation Cyclone, but even before that with Jimmy Carter. Okay? We have always been there. We've always fucked shit up. And the chickens are coming home to roost. It's blowback. It's whatever the fuck you want to call it. Now that we're, you know, pulling out of Afghanistan, okay? Now that we're fucking pulling out of Afghanistan, we're going to fuck our own country up. But before we do that, before we talk about, like, how we are continuing to, you know, fuck our country up, let's Let's talk a little bit further about the Afghanistan thing. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan? Question mark? Yes. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. The USSR did not want to involve themselves with the socialist government that was fucking horrifying, but ultimately led to invading Afghanistan full-blown because of, and this is not my words, these are the fucking words of Jimmy Carter's own Secretary of State. The insurrectionist movement created by Islamist fundamentalists that were backed by and trained by and also agitated by the CIA. I don't know what else to tell you. If you don't believe me, just literally fucking Google it, okay? That's where the line Soviets in Afghanistan and Billy Joel's "We didn't start the fire" came from. They were radicalized by the white revolution that purged communists for 8 years. There is no positives to the fucking socialist government or the socialist formation of the Afghan government, dude, okay? Their land reforms were executed faultily at best, but overall their fucking hate boner for Islam was genuinely a problem. Okay? And 1000%. Google says otherwise? You mean lib take? Yeah, okay, dude. Yeah, you know me. I'm liberals always talk about Jimmy Carter's involvement in Afghanistan, dude. It's like a classic fucking liberal take. Wouldn't Afghanistan be better off without a USA intervention? I can't begin to stress this enough. Yes, they would have. But Afghanistan technically probably would have been better off under a monarchy as well. So that isn't really saying much. It's silly to go back to these like different hypotheticals. But the one thing I can tell you with a certainty is that without us arming and causing insurrectionist movements amongst and you know, working side by side with the Pakistani authorities to arm, train, and create insurrections amongst the Mujahideen, Islamist fundamentalists, which we literally fucking brainwashed as well, with our support, yes, Afghanistan would be better off than it is now. How much better, I don't know. But it's not like the Russians were kind to the Afghans, okay? They were not. They, especially the USSR involvement and then also the civil war that came after, it led to 11% population decrease. But having said that, the United States involvement greatly contributed to that. Here, Brzezinski says it himself here in this interview in 1998, where he takes credit for it. It wasn't quite like that. We didn't push the Russians to intervene, but we knowingly increased the probability that they would. When the Soviets justified their intervention by asserting that they intended to fight against the secret U.S. involvement in Afghanistan, nobody believed them. However, there was an element of truth in this. You don't regret any of this to this day? Regret what? The secret operation was an excellent idea. This is what he's talking about with respect to arming the Mujahideen. Okay? This is before Operation Cyclone, when Reagan very publicly did this. According to the official version of history, CIA aid to the Mujahideen began during 1980s, that is to say, after the Soviet army invaded. But the reality, closely guarded until now, is completely otherwise. Indeed, it was July 3rd, 1979 that President Carter signed the first directive for secret aid to the opponents of the pro-Soviet regime in Kabul. And that very day, I wrote a note to the president in which I explained to him that, in my opinion, this aid was going to induce a Soviet military intervention. So do you regret that, is the question that is asked to Brzezinski. He says, the operation was an excellent idea. It had the effect of drawing the Russians into the Afghan trap, and you want me to regret it. The day that the Soviets officially crossed the border, I wrote to President Carter, essentially, we now have the opportunity of giving to the USSR its Vietnam War. Indeed, for almost 10 years, Moscow had to carry on a war that was unsustainable for the regime, a conflict that brought about the demoralization and finally the breakup of the Soviet Empire. But in the most American fashion possible, their own Vietnam still ended up turning into our own Vietnam. So, you know, turned into Vietnam 2 Electric Boogaloo. And neither do you regret having supported Islamic fundamentalism, which has given arms and advice to future terrorists. Okay, let me put it out there in ways that you can understand. What is more important in world history? The Taliban? This is in 1980, so like he doesn't know or 1999, so he's like unaware of what will happen. So he goes, What's more important in world history, the Taliban or the collapse of the Soviet Empire? Some agitated Muslims or the liberation of Central Europe and the end of the Cold War. Some agitated Muslims, but it has been said and repeated, Islamic fundamentalism represents the world menace today. Nonsense. It is said that the West has a global policy in regard to Islam. That is stupid. There isn't a global Islam. Look at Islam in a rational manner, without demagoguery or emotionalism. It is the leading religion of the world with 1.5 billion followers. But what is there in common among fundamentalists Saudi Arabia, moderate Morocco, militarist Pakistan, pro-Western Egypt, and secular Central Asia? Nothing more than what unites the Christian countries. Oh, wait. Well, thank you. Thank you for literally seeing that and then using every opportunity you could to create a Wahhabist fundamentalist attitude in literal militant cells that have now made it seem like there's a monolithic and fundamentalist Islamist approach amongst all Muslim countries. So for people who fucking, you know, cry about this shit, like, suck my dick, okay? Seriously. Just because you don't know, or just because you've been fed a steady diet of bullshit, does not change the fucking reality of history, okay? The Soviet Union was not an empire, it was a liberation. Why are you repeating capitalist neoliberal talking points? Literally State Department propaganda. It's the CIA's fault. The USSR had a noble cause. It's easy to make stuff up in an echo chamber. Yeah. Remember when I went back in time? Okay. When I went back in time and made this interview up, this retrospect from 1998, and then got it published in the University of Arizona when I was 7 years old. Isn't that crazy? I was 7 years old when I was able to fucking make this fake interview. Yeah. It's kind of wild. The echo chamber that I have created. If you're looking at like an actual description of events that took place that goes against the manufactured narrative that you've been fed your entire life, and this is factually correct information, and you think, oh, this is an echo chamber where this person is probably lying to me, perhaps you should be a little bit more skeptical about the sources that you've gotten information from originally. Okay? Like, how the fuck do you look at an actual figure, an actual authority who is like openly stating their goals in clandestine operations with respect to triggering a USSR invasion of Afghanistan, which was costly and deadly, and you still go, nah, fuck that. He made this up, dude. This is not real. Like, you are closing your ears, closing your eyes, and you're going, la, 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 la. I don't want to hear you. The USSR still would have collapsed without Afghanistan? Very likely. This is also true. Again, though, I can't make that assessment. That's one. And two, the USSR probably still would have gone into Afghanistan, even without the insurrectionist movement of the Mujahideen. Okay? So, I don't know how deadly that would have been. I don't know how costly that would have been without an insurrectionist movement that made it impossible to fucking deal with, as we've seen time and time again. Echo chambers, when multiple people agree, when someone talks to me, I kill them immediately to keep my brain free from bias. So, let's hear what the vets at a Virginia diner angered over Afghanistan had to say.
The United States exit from Afghanistan calls it a success. But what does the rest of the country think?
He screamed it, by the way. Fox and Friends Enterprise reporter Lawrence Jones, just a few miles from Fort Lee in Virginia.
For the record, and I must point this out, the main reason why people say that the USSR was not an imperialist force, but rather reacting to the needs that specific governments had, and the main difference there is because whether it be Vietnam, or whether it be Afghanistan, or whether it be any other country that the USSR was involved in regularly, they were involved in because of, and this is outside of like the main USSR map. I'm talking about Afghanistan and Vietnam specifically, areas that they don't like directly touch. But in situations like that, their involvement was still incredibly deadly, incredibly violent, to make no mistake. But the main difference, at least from a political science point of view, was that the ultimate goal was not to fucking dominate, crush the country, and then extract its natural resources, but rather to aid and abet the government, no matter how fucking brutal they might be. Like, the government itself in Afghanistan was a socialist formation. It was a socialist government that were instituting land reforms. Part of the reason why they wanted to go in and change out the government was because they were incredibly fucking violent. They even said, despite being anti-theists themselves and like r/atheist Andes themselves, they saw that the Afghan government at the time, the socialist Afghan government's involvement with the Muslim tribes in that region was incredibly fucking violent and completely unacceptable and was leading to mass revolts. Anyway, Soviets were pro-Parcham faction because of their interest, and they killed Amin at the request of the ousted faction. The Parchams were far less popular than the Khalq leaders. Neither leadership was good, from what I understand. Anyway, but the main difference there is, like, instead of treating a country like a fucking military forward operating base for yourself, or a land to be exploited, land to be fucking taken, and natural resources that are ripe for extraction. Part of the reason why the Soviet leadership would go into countries like this were to work and offer help and assistance to the already existing socialist governments in an effort to push back against, you know, CIA involvement, American destabilization efforts that were incredibly successful at the time. Look no further than Latin American countries in its entirety to see that reality. Cuba is a great example of this. Anyway, I don't even know why the fuck I'm like fundamentally or functionally coming across like I'm defending the USSR. I'm not. But there is a distinction there. So let's hear what veterans, hoorah veterans, had to say about, you know, unacceptable to leave anyone behind.
Virginia, with thousands of Afghan refugees have passed through the medical care and processing, and he joins us now for the Keystown Grill. Hey, Lawrence, what's happening?
Hey, Brian, I'm still trying to figure out why the president of the United States was yelling, who he was yelling at. I got Mike here. You're a veteran. Thank you so much for your service. You worked on those C-17 planes, and now you're a pastor, and you're talking with veterans every single day.
Well, the biggest thing they're concerned about is, did their sacrifice matter? I mean, you just referenced a few minutes ago, we were in this war for over 20 years. My son served in Afghanistan, and he told me this week as he put his uniform back on for the first time after having deployed back from Qatar, and just, what does it mean? Did it have any value? You know, we watched 20 years of our sacrifice, of our investment, literally evaporate in 7 days. The billions of dollars of equipment that we left behind to equip an enemy that is our sworn enemy, and yet, what did we gain from it? Veterans are calling me and they're struggling. They're struggling with the idea that the sacrifice mattered. And so that's really concerning to me. Where's the mental health of our veteran community, and are we making sure they're okay?
Thanks, Mike. And that's a sentiment that we continue to hear, guys, from a lot of folks here. I want you guys to hear from Kevin here. Thank you so much for your service too, sir. You said you lost buddies at 9/11.
Well, yeah, we lost not only the civilian casualties that we had when the towers came down, but we had over 365 firefighters that lost their lives, and hundreds of law enforcement officers lost.
Which is why we had to fucking go into Afghanistan and stay there for 20 years. It's like, what? I don't understand. Like, what? I'm confused. Like, is that not how that works? Like, I don't get it. It's like, I'm sorry, officer. I killed this entire family because, you know, my uncle was murdered by another person that kind of looks like this family member. So that's just how it works, usually. You just do that. And then many generations after that family, I will still continue to murder because, you know, again, my uncle was murdered by this other random dude. That's what that guy sounds like. That's what his argument is. It's fucking psychotic.
Lost their lives, not to mention what happened at the Pentagon. You know,
I had to lose over 2K more soldiers because of domestic deaths. No, that's the real number is 12K in Iraq and Afghanistan. It totals 12,000 soldiers, not 2.
we're back to square one. You know, President Bush, I remember him standing on that pile of rubble, telling the world that we're going to get the people that did this, and taking the steps that we did throughout.
It's so funny that he says that, except, you know, in leaked documents from the Washington Post, Donald Rumsfeld, 2 years into the fucking invasion, was still talking about how he had no idea who the fuck we were hitting. That's so weird. Also, rest in piss. Rest in fucking piss, Donald Rumsfeld. He died June 29th, 2021. That piece of shit motherfucker. Anyway, our Secretary of Defense at the time, who was like, of course, the main, like, you know, war drum banger, Donald fucking Rumsfeld, in leaked documents, literally talked about how he didn't know who the fuck we were hitting in Iraq or Afghanistan and that we needed better targets. But hey, you know, this guy knows. Why does this guy know? Because he was fucking steadily fed this propaganda that he took hook, line, and sinker
throughout the years to put this country in a position where we could protect ourselves, protect our borders, protect our people. Now we've turned over a country back to a terrorist state that's going to put this entire country and the world at risk, and it's shameful. It shouldn't have happened the way it did.
And Andrew, you say that we should have never left that equipment there, and that concerns you.
I mean, absolutely.
Dog, if you're a fucking vet and you say we shouldn't have left that equipment there, you're a fucking idiot, okay? Like, how am I, a dumbass himbo that would never serve, more knowledgeable of like how these operations are conducted than you? I don't understand it. Like, oh, we shouldn't have fucking left it there. Okay, you want to spend $3 billion just to ship back those goddamn MRAPs so we can fucking use them on American civilians by police forces that purchased that surplus military equipment? Like, is that what you want to do? You fucking idiot. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. You're a fucking idiot, dude. It's a goddamn racket, dude. Fucking dumbass National Guard Andy over here like, oh, no, I got an opinion on this. I was protecting the coastline, brother. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Absolutely. You know, it's one thing to leave that country the way we did and leave the equipment behind. But, you know, to leave Americans, every creed of our military says you do not leave people behind. And to leave the equipment with a known terrorist organization.
Didn't they have disabled them, though? Of course they disabled them, bro. Are you fucking dumb? Obviously, it's been disabled. Like, that's the difference between you, a Twitch chatter, and also just, like, what the military does, okay? Like, of course, you sitting here are like, whoa, why didn't they disable them? Like, what are you, fucking stupid? Of course they disabled them. It doesn't matter. They're going to sell it for parts or probably try to fucking fix it up eventually, okay? The only equipment that they can use still that's functional is equipment that they left behind for the Afghan security forces that, of course, immediately were like, yeah, we're joining the Taliban. Because that's the government. That's the current Afghan government. Why the fuck wouldn't they join the Taliban? And, like, if you have any fears that these guys are going to be able to, like, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to fucking fly the Black Hawk helicopter until it, like, inevitably falls apart because it's an old-ass fucking piece of machinery anyway? And the upkeep is incredibly fucking costly. And what do you think? They're just going to like fly that in and do another 9/11? You think they're going to fly it all the way to America? You think they're going to fly it to where? Europe? No, they just have a fucking Black Hawk helicopter, dude. They have one fucking Black Hawk. The Taliban can have one Black Hawk as a treat, okay? Like, well, what do you think is going to happen? What are they going to do with that old ass thing? And people are so insane, dude. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe they like left this equipment behind. Like, it's just a way for imperial embarrassment to, again, build this moralistic patina, okay? The argument is actually not coming from a point of view of pragmatism or coming from a point of view of like utilitarianism. It's actually an argument where you are embarrassed on behalf of the imperial superpower that you worked for, okay? And now, just like the fucking dumbasses who are like, I'm angry at Hassan because he bought a house and that's hypocritical. It's like, no, you're just fucking angry that I have a house. You're angry that I'm fucking successful. And you're mad. Understandably, you're mad about your own personal situation. So now you're like trying to couch some sort of like intellectual argument in there to like hide your true reason for your anger. And it's the exact same concept here. You're trying to couch your imperialistic embarrassment with some kind of like weird intellectual argument, because you can't just be like, I am fucking embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that we're the wealthiest nation on earth that can't fucking spend a single fucking dime on healing its own citizens. I'm embarrassed that like the rest of the world is laughing at us. I'm embarrassed that our infrastructure is crumbling. I'm embarrassed that like a tiny fucking Republican Party absolutely demolishes this country, okay? A Republican Party that listens to the interests of like a tiny, tiny fucking but very vocal fraction of the overall electorate gets to dictate whatever the fuck happens to so many citizens, including Texas, which we'll talk about in a second, with their with the Roe v. Wade laws that are now being overturned thanks to the fucking Supreme Court, which has a permanent supermajority basically, and every single fucking person that is a conservative on that Supreme Court now, not every single one, but most of the fucking Supreme Court justices that we have were appointed by presidents that didn't even win the majority of the vote. Okay? So we live in this like awful, embarrassing, unequal system. The government does whatever the fuck it wants. It does death and it does destruction. And we used to do it really fucking well. That was like the one thing that we were number one at, okay? Like we're number one on obviously maintaining a prisoner population, and we were number one at doing war. And now when you can't even do war appropriately, or when the chickens come home to roost and you have to eventually evacuate, you're like, well, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, and it makes me feel bad. Okay? What was all of this for if we can't even fucking dominate a country and like give the country back to motherfuckers wearing flip-flops, dude? That's embarrassing as fuck, and you should be embarrassed. That's the reality. If you care about American imperialism, this is an embarrassing moment for you. So now, instead of like recognizing why that's embarrassing and remembering that like you had no say in this matter and you were probably duped into serving in Afghanistan and experienced so much fucking death and destruction and loss, instead of doing that, it's much easier to just like keep acting like there's another reason why I'm angry. I'm angry because we left inanimate objects behind. Oh my God. I'm angry because we didn't evacuate the military dogs, which we did, by the way. That was a fucking lie. The dogs that were left behind were not like military dogs, and not that it fucking matters, but the dogs that were left behind were not military dogs. They were just strays and shit. Oh no, brother. What about my trucks? Anyway.
Unacceptable. Completely unacceptable from the Biden administration.
What do you want to hear from the commander-in-chief as well as the joint?
They don't even have the resource to fuel the equipment, and as a vet, I can tell you that 90% of the vets I've worked with are completely clueless as to why and how the logistical decisions are made. Yeah.
Chiefs.
They need to step up. They need to step up. They took an oath in office to protect us, and leaving equipment behind, leaving Americans behind, that does not. It's just unacceptable.
Wow. And guys, as you know, Fort Lee is right down the street. A lot of veterans here, a lot of military spouses here, and they're passionate about this. And
also, it was left for the Afghan army, not for the Taliban, as a conservatard tried to suggest. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter for them.
We're going to be honoring the troops, the 13 troops, all morning today.
Yeah, oh, sick, dude. Honoring the 13 troops by, like, fucking sitting around being upset. Sitting around and being like, why can't we send more to die? Kind of fucked up. Would young vets have a different opinion on leaving Afghanistan? It just depends, man. It depends. It depends on who you're fucking talking to. Probably, though. They have tanks, Humvees, Black Hawk, a C-17, CH-46 for us. Mean for India? What? Meant for India, you mean? Yeah, okay. Here's one way to stop that in the future. Don't go into a fucking country where you have no business being in. Okay? Anyway. Mark Levin, can you hear the screams of Afghans, America? Yeah, you don't give a fuck about the Afghans. We literally killed an entire family of Afghan kids, and no one is talking about that, so I'm not even going to give that any light of day. Here, let's move on to our very own troubles at home in Texas specifically. That's right, folks. Roe v. Wade, after a good run, is now functionally overturned here in the United States, thanks to our Supreme Court that made this cowardly decision in the dead of the night.
Breaking news overnight from the Supreme Court. In a 5-4 vote, the court refused to block a new Texas law that is the most restrictive abortion law in the country. Chief Justice John Roberts sided with the 3 liberals. The court's decision does not prevent it from considering this case in the future. Abortion rights supporters are protesting the law, calling it unconstitutional. Ben Tracy is outside the Supreme Court. Ben, good morning.
Vlad, good morning. In her dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor called the court's decision stunning. She says this Texas law flouts nearly 50 years of federal precedent. But for now, this Texas law, which bans abortion after just 6 weeks of pregnancy, which is before most women even know they're pregnant, will remain in place. Abortion rights protesters at the Texas state capitol Wednesday vowed to keep fighting.
It is our right, our individual right, to choose whether and when we're going to have children.
Across Texas, abortion providers warn they may have to close their doors, and that the new
Thank you, Cash App, for the 69 gifted subs.
Law will only lead to illegal and dangerous abortions.
Medical professionals, clergy members especially, that were around before Roe v. Wade in '73 can tell you the horror stories.
The Texas law bans abortion once a so-called fetal heartbeat is detected, usually around 6 weeks. It also seemingly contradicts the Supreme Court decision in Roe v. Wade, which guarantees the right to abortion until fetal viability, which is about 22 to 24 weeks. The Texas law also allows any private citizen to sue someone helping a woman get...
Can they go to another state to get one still? Yeah, except, the person that's like aiding and abetting them could still technically be charged, or not charged rather, because I'll explain the differences in a second.
Get an abortion, which includes doctors, clinic staff, or even someone who drives a woman to a clinic. Those who win a lawsuit can be awarded at least $10,000.
At least.
Those are the ones who are breaking the law, who will be held liable for their criminal activity.
Elizabeth Graham is vice president of Texas Right to Life. She says anti-abortion advocates are now focused on a Mississippi case the Supreme Court will hear this fall that could overturn Roe v. Wade.
So this is absolutely unhinged, okay? This is a decent enough explanation of what the law entails, but I will, give you a more top-line analysis. So technically, what states have tried to do before is, ban abortions, make it illegal to have an abortion many times over at the state level, right? But because of the Roe v. Wade decision, which Brett Kavanaugh at the time considered to be a what is it called? Like a super precedent, which is that, this is a well-established law of the land and unchangeable. Okay. It's a constitutional interpretation that is very difficult to change, which of course, Amy Covid Barrett did not have the same feelings, but whatever. Because of the fact that they considered that to be a super precedent, it was impossible to use the state machinations to actually punish people criminally. So one of the most psychotic ways of getting around that decision was to get citizens to implement a bounty system and basically lock anyone and everyone into legal trouble with a minimum $10,000 penalty that you have to pay, including like the lawyer fees and shit like that for the other party. Functionally eliminating anyone who may or may not want to offer abortion or reproductive services that feature abortion in the entire state of Texas. Okay? So basically, a random person right now could literally sue another random person for driving a woman to get an abortion at a clinic. Even that person is liable to be sued. And in that lawsuit, they can at the very least tie them up for endless hours, and put them under this like insane obligation. You can literally sue people in different parts of Texas. So like, you might live in fucking Austin, but you can get sued by some random dipshit all the way in an area of Texas that's like super far from Austin, 9 hours away from Austin. And you would have to go there. You would have to get a lawyer. You would have to go there. You would have to fucking sit through all that legal trouble, and still technically you could lose and end up paying at least minimum $10,000 in damages to the other person, which, by the way, what the fuck are the damages? Like, it hurt my fees that this person went and got an abortion. Okay. And also have to pay for their legal fees and their court fees and their lawyer fees. Now, we already know that like, anti-abortion / pro-birth activists, okay, these pro-lifers that are not really pro-life at all, obviously, they love staking out Planned Parenthoods, and that's precisely what they've been doing. The most disgusting part is the incentivization. Yeah, they are functionally deputizing people. They're literally gifting people $10,000 for reporting people who get abortions which is 5 times the amount of COVID relief each person has gotten in 2021. Disgusting. It is so insane. Like this situation is so absolutely psychotic that I don't even know where to begin. Like it's just like a monstrous action that many other states are now going to follow through on, of course. Many other red states, that is. And the fact that, oh, there it is. Florida has already announced, Florida Senate President announces that they will be passing a model of the Texas abortion law. And of course, the psychotic thing here is that the Supreme Court literally, instead of saying, this is unprecedented, this is insane, this is a way to like, this is a way to get around Roe v. Wade and functionally destroy Roe v. Wade. And there's numerous different constitutional problems that come along with like allowing the citizenry to lock people up into legal trouble and criminal punishments, or not criminal punishments, but like punishments in the form of fines that we need to hold off on this, and that this law cannot go into action while we, figure out a way to interpret it and see if it's like constitutionally even appropriate. Instead of doing that, they pass it with a 5-4 decision, with Chief Justice Roberts siding with the dissenting opinion, and all of the other conservative psychos saying like, no, this law can continue. So it's insanity. It's absolutely insanity. I mean, even if you're like, oh, abortion is, it's terrible. It's fucking murder. Abortion is terrible. It's murder. Like, how the fuck do you get to decide what someone can and can't do to their fucking own body? Like, that's insane. Lucy Huber writes, to illustrate how insane a 6-week abortion ban is, I did IVF, in vitro fertilization, and still did not know I was pregnant until 4.5 weeks. Oh, that's the other part of it. Banning abortions beyond 5 weeks is really disgusting, because that means you're just 2 weeks late on your period, which can happen. 90% of women find out at 5 weeks or beyond 5 weeks, 6 weeks, that they are even fucking pregnant, okay? In the first trimester, 90% of abortions occur in the first trimester between 5 weeks and the end of the first trimester. 90% of abortions. And the process is incredibly simple, okay? For the most part. You take a pill and you have a heavy flow period, okay? It feels like a heavy flow period. It fucks you up a little bit, obviously. You can't have it too much. You can't do it all the time. But ultimately, it's literally just a pill. We're not talking about like complicated procedures where they go in and they like cut the fucking baby's body parts or whatever the fuck kind of psychotic bullshit abortion freaks claim is happening all the time. That's it. It's just a fucking pill. It's literally as early as you can possibly know that when you're paying someone to put an embryo in your body on a specific day and keep track of it. People are often surprised I got an ultrasound at 5 weeks because almost nobody but IVF patients get them. Most people aren't even seen by their OBGYN before 6 to 8 weeks. So even if people could manage to find out that they were pregnant at the first possible minute and schedule an abortion in less than 2 weeks, they would have to do so without even going to their own doctor and just having done a stick test. But obviously that's the point, right? A 6-week abortion ban is a total abortion ban because pretty much the only people who could reasonably get an abortion are people who very much want to be pregnant. So that's what Texas implemented. And now Florida wants to implement the same exact thing. And that's where we're at now. Incredibly restrictive, overturns Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court knew that it would, and they still went along with it. Also, a fetal heartbeat is not a heartbeat. It is a group of cells that will become a future pacemaker for the heart to gain capacity to fire electrical signals. Heart is far from fully formed at this stage. Of course. You destroy more cells exfoliating than a 6-week abortion ban? Wait, really? I did not know that. Oh, the other part about this is that there's no exceptions for rape or incest. That's right. The only way that you can legally get an abortion beyond 6 weeks in the state of Texas now, which, by the way, no one is going to facilitate that regardless because they don't want to get fucking sued. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want nurses. Nurses don't want to fucking have to go through the legal trouble. People don't want to drive. Ambulance drivers don't want to go through the legal trouble. No one wants to do this. So it's a functional ban. Okay? But the only person that can get an abortion is like if there is an extreme circumstance where there is a problem where, like, you know, carrying the pregnancy to term will kill the host. That's it. So a rapist could sue their victim if they chose to get an abortion. Yes, that's true. Obviously, you know, it would be a little difficult to fucking, you know, get away with that. But it does happen. We already know how the criminal justice system treats rape victims, so.
The justices will either have to strike down Roe or say that life can be protected at this stage. And if life can be protected at this stage, we thereby concede that Roe was a judicial concoction and is now no longer the law or the precedent of the land.
Now that Mississippi law bans abortion after 15 weeks.
But boys, we were out there protecting women's rights in Afghanistan, remember, right? I mean, we're out there protecting women's rights in Afghanistan when we don't even give a fuck about women's rights in America. So were we really protecting women's rights? Of course not.
Of pregnancy, and supporters of that law are hoping the conservative majority here at the Supreme Court will use it to overturn Roe v. Wade. Tony.
Ben, thank you very much.
We had a really tough night here on the East Coast, and we're going to begin with the extreme.
Oh, here's the exception. Notwithstanding any other law, civil action under this section may not be brought by a person who impregnated the abortion patient through an act of rape, sexual assault, incest, or any other prohibited actions. So it's still technically illegal, but you can't rape someone. Like, if there is a rape victim, okay, and they go and get an abortion, that's still illegal. So someone else could fucking sue. But I'm glad that they carved out a specific exception for, like, the rapists themselves to go and, notwithstanding any other law, civil action under this section may not be brought by a person who impregnated the abortion patient through an act of rape. So, like, the person himself, the rapist can't sue, guys. So don't worry. The rapist's family can still sue, okay? Or any other person can still, like a random person can still sue, because it's still illegal. You are being forced right now in the state of Texas to carry a rape child, a rape pregnancy to term. And I guess the rapist could probably sue too, as long as, you know, they draw out the long legal process of, like, you know, maintaining their innocence despite whether or not they actually did the rape or not. Is it true that a 17-year-old has already died from a botched abortion? I saw something about that. Okay, so I've talked about this a million times over. Okay, I've talked about this a million fucking times over. But here's the deal. Abortion bans don't actually stop abortions from happening, because the fetus has no viability outside of the fucking womb for the most part. Okay? Especially in the first trimester, because it's not a fucking, like, fetus even. It's, like, barely formed. And that's precisely why people do what is known as back alley abortions. They forcibly abort the baby themselves. So an access to abortion as a part of the reproductive health healthcare system, just means there's going to be more back alley abortions, which leads to more than 6 million deaths, and also disfigurations and infertility and whatnot a year in women that get back alley abortions in countries where abortion is still severely restricted. That's it. So you're not even banning abortions. You're just banning safe abortions. Okay? That's it. That's the reality. That is one thing, but, like, that's not going to stop it. People are still going to absolutely fucking, you know. Not in the United States, chat. No, 6 million all around the world yearly. And it's not just deaths. It's deaths and disfigurations and other complications that come from having back alley abortions. And of course, and I've said this already, a fuckload of these, like, psychotic, reactionary, pro-lifer groups are obviously going to be putting a lot of money and a lot of funds and a lot of efforts into narking, snitching, and, like, filing these, like, idiotic fucking lawsuits in an effort to stop people from actually getting this routine medical procedure that is in many countries free to get. Okay? Including fucking Turkey, for the record. A Muslim country. A country that's, like, you know, 90+% Muslim. Where in public hospitals, and also especially in private hospitals as well, you can just get a fucking abortion. In the first trimester, you can just go and get a fucking abortion, okay? So whenever people say like, oh, the Taliban, blah, 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 or, you know, all this other stuff, comparing it to like how barbaric the Islamic countries are, like, no, motherfucker, that's a you thing, okay? That's on you, bitch. That's Christian fundamentalism, okay? On an entirely different level than like Muslims as a whole. Of course, fundamentalist Muslims are psychos, but that's about conservatism. But yes, it would be terrible if everyone fucking routinely DDoS those narc hotlines that they've set up. That would be really horrible. I would be so upset if people were to keep routinely fucking DDoSing and you know, spamming those links with like, I don't know, Sonic porn, Shrek porn, numerous other kinds of weird things that you find on the internet. I mean, how horrible would that be? Fuck, man. You should definitely not use that bot that people are putting in the chat. I mean, definitely don't do that. Multiple girls in my high school class couldn't get abortions and overdosed on vitamin C to force an abortion. Yeah, especially don't send cussy porn. If you were to do such a thing, I would be horrified. Now, that just disrupts the process a little bit. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, they'll still be able to get. But yeah, a TikToker has made a script to flood text abortion whistleblower site with fake information. An easy-to-use iOS shortcut lets non-technical users bombard the site according to Motherboard's test. Man, I'm really worried about covering this. I mean, that would be so bad if people did that. So I probably shouldn't cover this, exactly detailing how you can do that.
IP banned me. Found out this morning. Okay, so when I access the site, it gives me something that looks like this. But before that, I was able to get about 245. And this morning, about 48 more, so about 300. But then I started thinking, what if I made this a bit easier for everybody? So I made an iOS shortcut. You might be asking yourself, what does the iOS shortcut do? Well, it picks a random city, county, and Texas zip code, and all the other information, puts it in the form, automatically submits it. So if you go to the website from your iOS device, this is the web page with the form, you click the share button, you click the shortcut, it automatically sends the form. It will then refresh the page and give you the option to do it again. Hit that 5 seconds. If you're interested, I'll put a link in my bio and download the shortcut, along with some instructions on how to use the shortcut. And because it uses realistic information, it makes it harder for them to parse through the data.
Also, if you're using a VPN, that makes it significantly harder. Most commercial or non-commercial, most residential ISPs already have rotating IPs, usually, simply by just fucking turning your, I think you could just like get around that by just like turning your fucking router on and off, but some might not. But ultimately, you know, there is a process. You can use a VPN, for example, to like, you know, you could use a VPN, for example, where, you know, you can get around that. I mean, that would be terrible. Obviously, you should not do that. I mean, the IP lease is managed at the DHCP. Yeah. So that's certainly something you can do. I mean, that would be so bad, though, if people were to do that. I looked into this code. My partner had a medical condition where she would literally not have a period during some months, so she wouldn't even know if she was pregnant until over 8 weeks. The fucked up thing is she could have major complications from even being pregnant. Also set that VPN to a Texas server. Don't let them just parse out reports from non-Texas states. Yeah. I looked into his code, and one of the biggest flaws but funniest part of his code is that the person you're reporting is my wife's boyfriend. That's hilarious. One thing you also shouldn't do, while I'm talking about this thing that you definitely shouldn't do, one thing you also shouldn't probably do is, like, you know, after a certain while, they might figure out that, you know, you're sending dumb shit, weird shit. So one thing you can do is make it more realistic when you're making mass reports and spamming shit. Like, and this is totally not, you know, an idea that I'm giving to other coders, but, you know, because you definitely shouldn't do this, is like trying to make it as realistic as possible by like trying to spam reports that have like a human being that like you're reporting on. And it doesn't have to be a real human being, obviously. There are many different resources where you can find fake humans. Like there's a Twitter account dedicated to "This human does not exist," which is just like a mishmash of different kind of human beings. Like you could literally just use that account as a basic staple that is like foolproof. You know, a human being that does not exist. Here, let me actually. This is the person, Sean the Black. Oh, it's literally me. Wow. Oh, that's terrible. Oh no, the person who made this TikTok. I'm so upset at you. 9-month subscriber who made a code to mass report things. I mean, no, that's really fucked up. Anyway, as I was saying, so here's a Twitter account. Okay. What is it? It's like "This person does not exist." Oh, here it is. So, I mean, if you wanted to, you could literally just like use whatever is on this bot, right? Like you could use people that are on this bot, including the photos on this bot, on this account, that, you know, when you're doing like these mass reports, it would make it seem more realistic. So then you wouldn't even just use, oh yeah, here, there's a new face every time you refresh on "This person does not exist." Okay, maybe not that one, but anyway, so that's like a cool thing that you can do, right? That was a little baby that evaded abortion. Okay, that little shit. I'm just saying, like, you know, there are ways to not only like evade the like IT specialists that are going to be working around the clock, or cybersecurity experts that are working around the clock to be able to like prevent you know, very coded attacks, which I don't know, they're Republicans. I don't even know how I don't even know if they know how to turn on the computer, let alone be able to like deal with a cybersecurity problem like this. Because, you know, there is no cybersecurity in the government. But if you were to, let's say, want to make it more difficult and like evade that, once you get through that original botting, one way that you can also exhaust resources, like human resources, is by setting up these fake but way more convincing possible abortion havers. You did just do a strike for the same exact shit? Yes. Yeah, hate raids on marginalized content creators that like spam the N-word is exactly the same as like trying to exhaust government resources that are specifically designed to harm women. Yes. Like punching someone in self-defense is like punching a child in the head for no reason. You know, the action is the same, so it's like literally the same thing. Oh my god. A brilliant analysis by that chatter. Zon, devs already know this shit. Who is this advice for? I don't know. People that want to, you know, this advice is against the devs that want to do these horrible things. So I don't know why you think I'm giving developers advice here. I'm giving them advice on what not to do, because that would be really bad. That would be really I'm saying, please do not do this. Do not, you know, mass report, just, you know, send fake people that don't exist by using resources like thispersondoesnotexist.com to make it seem more realistic when you're using a Texas VPN as you mass report things in an effort to make sure that your IP doesn't get fucking clapped from the website. There are things that would be terrible if you did all of those things. That would be a shame. That would be shameful if you did that. I'm saying don't do that. Definitely don't do that. I'm not holding up my thumbs and doing a double thumbs up right now, or air guns. I'm telling you, don't do that, okay? That would be fucking horrible. Anyway, shouts out to Sean Black, though. For any other devs out there, definitely don't use sites that have easy APIs like this, randomuser.me. It would be horrible. Okay. In the first video, Black says the script sends one request to text website around 10 to 15 seconds. In the second, Black adds that the script sent around 300 requests in that time of upload before the site blocked his IP address. Black told Motherboard that the idea came from his TikTok mutual, Victoria Hammett. Her video about the website inspired the idea for automation. The details were hammered out by myself, though, he wrote. Black said over 4,170 people have clicked the code, and 4,870 have clicked on the shortcut itself, according to the data from the Linktree page. Holy shit, that is an insane CTR, dude. Okay? Or not even a click-through rate. That's like an insane... Yeah, it is. It's an insane click-through rate. What the fuck? Anyone and everyone that clicked on it was like, I'm using this shit. Thanks, chat. I've peaked. I am... Wow, what's this guy doing? He's still... I can't believe he's not banned. He's a hacker, man, so I can't ban him. He's slipping through my security protocol. So fucked up. You freaking libtard. Do you just want babies to die or what? Yeah. I want abortions to happen all the fucking time, okay? Aborabos for all. It's fucking sick, dude. I love abortions. Abortions are fucking tight. Anyway, in response to the IP ban, Black found a way to essentially outsource his approach and create an iOS shortcut so that anyone with an iPhone can easily replicate what he did. iOS shortcuts are essentially predetermined commands that can be bundled together and executed when the user just taps the shortcut on their device. Here, the shortcut picks a random Texas city, county, and zip code and other required information, then puts the data into the reporting form Black said in the video. To use the shortcut, users need to visit the Texas website, click the share button, and then click the shortcut. Because it uses realistic information, it makes it harder for them to parse their data, Black adds. In Motherboard's test, we had to turn on allow untrusted shortcuts in an iOS device. I love that the rest of this website is literally telling you how to do it. Like, the rest of the article is literally just like, you know, when we tested this out, here were some things that we needed to do. In iOS device settings before being able to run the shortcut, on Thursday, the Texas website displayed a CAPTCHA, presumably in an attempt to stop automated submissions, but simply completing the CAPTCHA first and then running the shortcut bypassed this. The site then displayed a thank you message for the submission. Regarding the CAPTCHA, Black said, I feel it's best not to reveal how I intend on dealing with this hurdle. I will say I am working on a solution. Man, how terrible, dude. This guy. So frustrating. So frustrating to do such a thing. I cannot believe I just read this out loud in front of 41,000 young minds who spend literally all of their waking hours in front of a computer and love doing stuff like this. This is, oh man. That is, see, the reason why I talked in front of such a massive audience of fucking developers and coders and whatnot on such a particular subject is because I wanted to remind you of the dangers of doing a horrible thing like this, a totally immoral thing that you should not do. Anyway, man, I just, you know, it's better to know about how to, you know, do this sort of stuff so you just don't do that. Please. Anyway. As long as you link the article so we can read out about how not to do it is fine. As soon as someone said that in the code, it said my wife's boyfriend, I assumed that it was someone in this community. That was my immediate assumption. As soon as someone said that the report is on my wife's boyfriend, I was like, this gotta be a fucking shitter from here. Like, it's such a silly thing. Good thing you're not the top streamer in multiple red states preparing your viewers to do this when it comes to their states. Yeah, it's really fucked up. Thank you, Hassan. Usually it's really important to teach chatters like me how to do the illegal things so I know not to do it by accident. Yeah. Like, what if you accidentally did something like that? You know, these would be terrible. Anyway, using the same name will allow them to quickly filter all those fakes out. No, that's why I was saying a good way to do it is by using like a name generator. This person does not exist. That's like that's a good way to avoid that. Man, yeah, Sean Black, he must be so embarrassed now. He's just getting called out like this by a guy he's subscribed to for 9 months nonetheless. I mean, fuck. Terrible. Links to the iOS shortcut. Stop. You stop it right now, dude. You stop. Oh no. Did I accidentally VIP this person? You stop sending those links right now, dude. Fuck, I was trying to ban him, and then accidentally I clicked on and VIP'd him. That's... What an unfortunate thing that was. That's... oh, well. I just don't know how to run a computer, so... It's terrible that happened. Fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. Anyway, let's keep going. Look at my senator dog. I'm not getting any reforms. Dude, what the fuck, dude? As someone who dresses in the worst ways possible, whenever I see Kirsten Sinema, I'm just like, at least I don't look like that, okay? God damn. God damn, dude. And she has a clearer iPhone case, dude. Real by visibility hours. So let's get back to the matter at hand, though. Before we move on with the IDA stuff, I do want to talk more about the I guess I did cover the abortion stuff pretty rigorously, but one other thing I was gonna say is like, what's absolutely insane about this, and like how irresponsible it is that the Supreme Court pushed this through, despite the fact that like I am not a jurisprudence fetishist at all. You know, I don't give a fuck. Like, I personally think it's hilarious that people try to act like, you know, there's such a thing as like, I'm a constitutionalist. Like, oh, it's just a matter of different interpretation. No, you are, and I've said this time and time again, you are not a constitutionalist. You're just a reactionary, okay? Your point of view is diluted. Your point of view is violent. And you are trying to couch your reactionary and sometimes fascist point of view under the guise of an intellectual disagreement. So you can keep sipping cocktails with other liberal friends of yours at the fucking circuits that you attend, okay? And that's it. You are a reactionary conservative who is not actually doing like a different kind of legal interpretation. You are just trying to find a way to intellectualize your backwards ideas, okay? Through the guise of like a constitutional interpretation. So fuck the Supreme Court. Motherfuck the Supreme Court. Motherfuck all the conservatives on the Supreme Court. Fuck the Supreme Court in general. The fact that we've had like the majority of Supreme Court justices appointed by people who did not even win the majority is psychotic, including 3 from Donald Trump alone. Like, it's just so fucked up. It's so broken. Absolutely destroy the Supreme Court. Fuck it. Pack it. Do whatever the fuck you can. I do not give a shit. And also, if people are out here talking about how like, oh my God, what about the repercussions? Like, it's so dumb. I don't care. Okay? I do not give a fuck. So, by the terms of prohibits awarding fees under the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure or any rule adopted, the Texas Anti-SLAPP statute is, as far as I can tell, under the Texas Civil Practice Remedies Code. Does the Texas law defang the anti-SLAPP law by prohibiting an award or fees? Or is the Texas anti-SLAPP statute outside of the scope of the fee-shifting prohibition because it's not the Texas Rule of Civil Procedure? As I read the anti-SLAPP law's mechanism for dismissing a case, the procedural vehicle would still apply either way, including the crucial provision for an immediate appeal, but it only applies to specified speech, not all conduct covered by the anti-abortion statute. Whether or not it applies to stop anti-SLAPP fee shifting, the Texas legislature's decision to protect bounty hunters from any other provisions intended to punish frivolous litigation speaks for itself, I think. So, point out this provision of the law to me, prohibiting an award of attorney fees to a defendant who prevails in a case under the law, so that by its terms prohibits awarding fees under the Texan rules of civil procedure and any rule adopted by the Texas Supreme Court. So I think this is just talking about how the awards mechanism is going to work, and how there's already statute that would specifically prohibit this sort of awards mechanism from working in the state of Texas. The Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation Lawsuits and the Texas Citizens Participation Act. This name describes a lawsuit filed to stop a person or a group from speaking out. The lawsuit can be filed by the plaintiff on different grounds, reasons like libel or tortious interference, but the point of a SLAPP suit is to silence the defendant regardless of whether the lawsuit has merit. It's only going against defendants. I'm from Texas and me and my wife are terrified of raw dog, and now because of this shit, Abbott needs to stay out of my wife's pussy. I don't know if Abbott could even, do anything if he got in there, but there's a registered religious organization called the Satanic Temple, which is fighting to make abortion part of their religious rituals in order to game the system and let members have their abortion, circumvent these laws. Yes, I did see Asha Rangapa's banger tweet. Yes, she said, "Hey, Bernie bros, you did this, guys. Sorry, but someone had to say it." I'm glad. I'm glad that someone did say it. What a brave woman, dude. That's what happens when you're a former FBI special agent, okay? You're brave enough to say the right things like this. Thank you. Somehow Bernie is responsible for this. You're right. You know, not the Democratic Party that did everything in their fucking power to put up one candidate that would, that would definitely lose to Donald Trump. So, Bernie Sanders made RBG die. Yeah, Bernie Sanders murdered Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and also, you know, remember all of those liberals that are fucking freaking out about this that also were totally an advocate for not letting Ruth Bader Ginsburg retire because she's a fucking girl boss? Good job, dude. Thank God we had that fucking carcass in the Supreme Court for an extended period of time so she could die under Donald Trump. It was so sick. It's great. Sorry. You know? What the fuck are we doing, dude? Hey, by the way, guys, currently, while this is going on, you know, there are Supreme Court justices that should also fucking retire. You wrong for that? I don't give a fuck, dude. Fuck Ruth Bader Ginsburg, dude. I literally don't care. I don't care. Yeah. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Jill Filipovich, who said it's sexist to say Ruth Bader Ginsburg should retire, is blaming Bernie Sanders. Yeah. How old is fucking Breyer? 80? Yeah, get the fuck out of here, dude. Yeah, the fact that like Stephen Breyer is still in the Supreme Court at the age of fucking 83 when we're under, you know, we're under Joseph Robinette Biden's leadership right now, where we could put in like a, you know, sexy little fucking 35-year-old, okay? Like, I don't give a fuck. Put a 35-year-old communist on the Supreme Court, dude, who will never die. Like, make sure that they don't even have any like make sure that they don't even have any sort of like prior health conditions, no like family history of you know, any sort of like adverse health conditions. Just will live forever, okay? We'll live forever, and we'll do communism in the Supreme Court. Like, the fact that we haven't done this yet, and the very same people that were like advocating for Ruth Bader Ginsburg to not retire because she's a fucking girl boss, slay queen, are saying the exact same thing about fucking Breyer is insane to me. Okay? And yes, I am a fucking ageist and an ableist when it comes to the Supreme Court. Not an ableist in the sense that, like, you know, I care if they have, you know, disabilities that prevent them from walking or some shit. But, like, ableist in the sense that, like, you know, I don't want them having dementia, like a history of dementia or Alzheimer's in their family. So they literally will just, like, maximize the amount of time they spend on the Supreme Court. Remember when RBG died of COVID? Did that COVID wedding 2 weeks before she died? Yeah. I don't know if she died of COVID. That never came out, but anyway, there is no, the anti-abortion snitch form is offline. Wait, they took it down? Speaking of RBG, shout back to this banger tweet. My friends, John McCain is in heaven right now, pumping RBG full of his cum. Oh my God. Why did Cody say this? That's terrible. Oh, fuck. Did I just like that? I'm doing a lot of misclicks today. I'm sorry. That's so bad. What a bad thing that he said. Whoops. Can you be sued if you help someone get an abortion in a different state? If they're from Texas, I think. Yeah. If you facilitate. Is your mouse broken or something? Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what it is. What's your stance on having only 9 Supreme Court justices? Pack it. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if the Supreme Court ceased to exist tomorrow. So I don't care if like the supposed integrity of the Supreme Court is called into question, if there's just like people politically packing the Supreme Court. And then what if the Republicans pack it again? Okay, motherfucker, they're doing it already without packing it, so shut the fuck up. Oh no, what if the Republicans, you know, game the system more? Well, I don't know. The fact that we have a permanent supermajority of conservative Supreme Court justices that just overturned Roe v. Wade at the fucking middle of the night seems like they're not playing by the fucking rules. So they're going to do whatever the fuck they can. They don't ever fucking apologize for doing this shit. They do terrorism on a daily basis. And you're over here like, what about jurisprudence fetishism? Like, shut the fuck up. You're an idiot, dude. What matters is saving people, okay? What matters is ensuring that people can still have safe abortions if they need it, okay? What matters is that women should be able to have bodily autonomy over their own fucking bodies and not forced to carry pregnancies to terms, okay? I don't care. I don't care about the fucking Supreme Court. Fuck the Supreme Court, okay? Let me make that clear, like, one more time. Motherfuck the Supreme Court, okay? Bunch of fucking psychotic, elitist, pedophile weirdos just sitting around in fucking robes and deciding what happens to Americans. Like, fuck them. Allegedly pedophile weirdos. You can't get in trouble if the abortion happens out of state. Oh, okay. I thought like if you facilitated, you know, trips and stuff, you could still be liable if it's like a Texan. Like the fact that the Federalist Society could like completely undermine any pretense of democracy that we have in this country. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, it's just fucking bullshit. We're in power, dude. We put you in power. Do something. Literally anything. Yes, if you're an Uber driver and you drive someone to get an abortion, you are liable. Like you can be sued and be forced to pay a minimum of $10,000 to the person who sued you, and also their fucking lawyer fees, their legal fees, their court fees, all of that. Ugh, dude. I would never live in a red state like Texas now that the American Taliban have taken over. I have a daughter. I'm not going to get like gross old men try to control what she does to her body. Dude, is there a way to physically write this in the worst way possible? Like, think about all the fucking people that live in Texas, man. Come on, dude. Like, it's the women of Texas that are fucking suffering. Like, ultimately, you're like, oh, it's a disgusting state. And then also being like the Texas Taliban. Just, no, it's not a maximum of 10K. It's a minimum of 10K. Oh, the other thing that I was going to say about how fucking insane this is like, first of all, this circumvents like any fucking law or any sort of like Supreme Court decision that came before it. Okay. Utilizing like civil litigation as a method to stop actions from occurring, to like literally motivate people not to do things by using this exact same mechanism. You can literally fucking stop so many different things. It is a psychotically irresponsible Supreme Court decision. They were so fucking horny to allow this to continue while they look for all of the different reasons why it may be unconstitutional. And it's one of the worst things you could have done. Bro, it's literally, this was I think used by, it was on Democracy Now! This morning. I forget this activist that was talking about it. It's like, it's literally like saying women, I don't want women to vote, but I can't use the state mechanism to prevent women from voting. So I'm just going to, you know, make everyone liable to pay me $10,000 if they facilitate in allowing a woman to vote. Okay? It's literally that simple. Like they passed the bill where you can, anywhere around the country, you could just fucking say women should not be able to vote. And if they go out and vote, they can be held criminally fucking liable. Or not criminally liable, but like liable for legal fees and shit like that. How nuts is that, dude? So what's up? Like, going forward in the future, you can just like, I don't know, in a state like New York, for example, we'll just use this against people that want to fucking have guns or that want to say racist stuff. You know, there is, it goes against the First Amendment to you know, hold people criminally liable for hate speech. But let's say blue states decide that there is a civilian voting protocol put in place, or a civilian fucking reporting protocol put in place. That like if you say the N-word, okay, and someone hears it and they document it, they can snitch on you, and then you're fucking legally, now you're sued out the ass. Let's do that, bro. Come on. There you go. It violates freedom of speech, right? But it doesn't matter because it's technically not a state machination. It's not a state mechanism that's like holding someone criminally liable. So technically it doesn't matter, right? How about that for fucking jurisprudence fetishism, dude? How about that? That's great. I mean, hey, that's one way to fucking fight fire with fire. It's so stupid. Anyway, one method out of this disaster is by trying to, and I don't know if this would ever work even, but trying to fucking push for the same goddamn protection for women's rights that has been tried and failed to pass in every fucking Congress so far. Okay? Just get the Democratic Congress to draft and push legislation that will protect you know, the already constitutionally protected right for women to be able to have autonomy over their own bodies and get an abortion if they want to. Our public health expert, Brogan, who wants to suck out ovaries like boba. Brogan says, Texas want to ban abortion, but literally has no education or healthcare provided to even help unwanted pregnancies. In Texas, 1.7 million women live in contraceptive deserts, which means that they lack access in their county to a health center that offers the full range of contraceptive methods. That's a foolproof way to increase the number of people that need to get abortions. So there is that. Of course, now that everyone's talking about Afghanistan, or that they're talking about, you know, the Texas abortion laws and the Supreme Court's decision, Joe Manchin was like, this is a good time to bring the conversation back to me. Joe Manchin, my favorite subject. Manchin op-ed, I for one won't support a $3.5 trillion bill or anywhere near that level of additional spending without greater clarity about why Congress chooses to ignore the serious effects inflation and debt have on existing government programs. But Manchin closes with this: by placing a strategic pause on this budgetary proposal by significantly reducing the size of any possible reconciliation bill to only what America can afford and needs to spend, we can and will build a stronger nation. It's like, shut the fuck up, dog. How about that? How about you shut the fuck up? No one cares right now, okay? You'll have your moment. You'll have your moment later. No, he's gonna suck it the fuck up, okay? Little bitch boy. Not just a women's issue. Y'all call yourself left. Says, yikes, bud. Not only women need abortions. I can't tell if this is a troll that's like claiming that we're being transphobic or something. I don't know what the fuck you want. Like, yes, NBs and trans men can also get an abortion. Like, sorry that I did not mention it. Is that good? Imagine you're an R-word baby getting raised by a person. Jesus Christ, dude. Okay, dude. Fucking holy hell. My man said, imagine you're an R-word baby. I love when the guy's like, I can't believe you're not talking about NBs and trans men and their access to like abortions, but then literally is like, what if you're an R-worded baby? Oh, he might have meant rape. He might have just meant rape. I don't know why he didn't just say it though. Republican baby? Yeah, imagine you're a Republican baby, dude. Anyway. Oh, Amazon has Plan B pills for $8.59 FYI Texas. Also imagine you are R-word baby. Did you get your race card, Hassal? First of all, Plan B is not effective as a method to do abortions though. You're like literally putting yourself at risk. So Plan B is nothing when you're 6 weeks in. I mean, it could help, but I think you are putting yourself at serious risk if you were to use that. Which, again, goes back to the fucking... It's a thing now on YouTube and TikTok to say R-word and SA for sexual assault instead of the full words. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll talk about Chelsea Manning, friend of the show, big Hasanabi head, gaming watcher, and American patriot, actual hero, Chelsea Manning. Some of you may know her, some of you don't, but she finally came out and wrote some stuff about Glenn Greenwald, who, which I'm sure took a lot of courage to be able to say. Glenn Greenwald, I don't have $10,000 right now, but if I get it, I want to send it back to you from a donation you once did. I can't deal with this anymore. I'm terrified of you and everything you do. You're greedy, unprincipled, and I'm embarrassed for ever considering you a friend. Last night during the floods, I decided that I'm no longer going to be afraid of saying what's on my mind anymore or taking a stand for the people that I once considered allies, but who have chosen to bash, harass, humiliate, intimidate, and lie to get ahead. For those he has hurt, I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. I was scared, and that's my fault. And, of course, I'm sure Glenn Greenwald responded to this in the most normal way he could, because if there's one thing, you know, if there's one fucking thing that Glenn Greenwald loves, it's responding to criticism, no matter how fair it is, in the best way you possibly can. Where is it? Where is his response? He said, Glenn, of course, to this responded with a quote tweet saying, friendships that depend on political agreement were never friendships, just cynical transactions. When she was in prison trying to repeatedly kill herself, I was one of the only one who visited, spent hours on the phone raising money for her. No good deed goes unpunished. Oh, sick, dude. I guess like that's incredibly fucked up, by the way. What an incredibly fucked up thing to say. Some principled person he is. Incredibly low. Anyway, sometimes people are nice to you as long as you're of use to them and provide them things they want. That's a self-report, by the way. Like, that's literally the cynical relationship that he has with Tucker Carlson. for the record. And then turn on you when you can't or won't any longer. As long as you know you gave and defended them with the right motives as I did, your conscience should be clean. Lots of people on the left, not all but many, mistake friendships for political agreements such that when the political agreement erodes for them, the friendship does too. Friendships that don't transcend politics or require political agreement have no value. So one thing that I see a lot of like idiotic Republicans or even like reactionary people or people that like adopt reactionary aesthetics for whatever they want to do, I don't know, for one reason or the other, is constantly talking about like how, you know, friendships should transcend politics. It's not politics that is the reason for why some friendships end. It's the fact that you're a fucking bad person, okay? If you are routinely advocating for harm to be done to other people, then maybe, just maybe, some people are like, yeah, I can't overlook this. Like, you're kind of a bad person. Like, you're being a bad person by hanging out with bad people and, you know, being a fucking delusional puppet to them. As long as you meet their expectations, they will use you and your credibility that you once had to fucking hammer attacks against the left and against the liberals, and liberals do certainly deserve it, okay? While simultaneously running defense when you're not on the broadcast for the Republicans, which Glenn, of course, has also started to do in the most like idiotic way possible. And it's so strange. Like, so many positions that he once held, he has contradicted now in this like furious hyper focus that he has against anti-SJW shit, you know, or for anti-SJW shit, like against people that he declares to be a threat because of their liberalism. With Julian Assange, while Julian Assange was rotting in prison, Chelsea Manning recently smeared him when he couldn't defend himself, announcing that if she had to do it over again, she would not have leaked the WikiLeaks. Maligning someone unjustly rotting in prison is not an attribute I value. I don't know about the details of this. I think Chelsea was on with Ken, and I think she literally said, if I could do it, if Ken was around, I would have leaked this information to Ken Klippenstein instead. Oh, someone said, pretty abusive to bring up suicidality in this context. It's been reported publicly numerous times. Dude, he's such a fucking debate lord, dude. It's reported publicly numerous times that when you spend a huge amount of time helping someone through extremely difficult moments in their lives, even though you've never met them, only for them to repay you with the vicious public denunciations, they're not the victim. Yeah, totally, dude. Glenn is the victim here, guys. Glenn is the true victim here. Glenn is always the victim. It's really interesting how fucking all of these shitheads, whenever they have like a reactionary stint, turn into the very special little snowflakes that they once fucking denounced. Conservatives love crying about like snowflake, snowflake, snowflake this, snowflake that, oh, libtards, whatever. And then they themselves turn into the biggest fucking big wet babies, dude. Like any sort of pushback and they're like a big wet baby. So narcissistic, so fucked up. Like, I believe that Julian Assange should not be in prison, okay? I don't care that he, like, fucking personally hated Hillary Clinton. I don't give a fuck that he might have played a role in destroying Hillary Clinton and allowing Donald Trump to win. I don't care, okay? That's not reason alone for someone to be... That's not reason alone for one of the most important fucking constitutionally protected values to erode, okay? Freedom of press. It's incredibly important. The fact that he is still in jail for whistleblowing is psychotic. I hate that he is a dipshit, but I don't care. He does not deserve to be in prison for that, okay? Same with Edward Snowden. The sexual assault charges are separate, okay? But that's not the reason why he is, that's not the reason why he's in this situation. Don't be fucking delusional. We have sexual assaulters that have become presidents, okay? We have presidents that have done sexual assault in office. If you think for even for a brief moment that any of these people give a fuck about sexual assault, you are a delusional baby, okay? It's being weaponized. He means Assange's sexual assault, not Snowden. Yeah, there's a reason why Edward Snowden is still in Russia, okay? Allegedly. We don't even know where the fuck he is. Like, why can't he come back to America? He didn't do sexual assault. What's up? So, absolutely fucking preposterous. Regardless, Julian Assange should be free to be tried. Like, normally, but I don't even think that that could ever happen. Okay? Unfortunately. Oh, yeah. Sorry. The way I worded it made it seem like Snowden was sexually assaulted someone. No, he did not. There's no charges of sexual assault against Edward Snowden. Anyway, Julian Assange is currently being caged and tortured by the recipient of those leaked documents and courageously publishing them. What a shitty thing to say. And what even more callous and bullshit to promote. Like, they're this fucking butthurt because Chelsea had the audacity to say, like, at the time, if Ken Klippenstein, friend of the show, Ken Klippenstein, was working, I would have leaked those documents to Ken Klippenstein instead. That's like, how the fuck are you, losing your fucking mind over this shit? Anyway, as I've long said, this is what left liberal spaces have become. They all turn on each other, denounce each other, and repudiate one another. Their currency is this form of self-victimizing grievance. So grateful I'm not captive or dependent on it. No, motherfucker, I'm not captive or dependent on it. That is the difference, okay? People fucking yell at me all the goddamn time. Glenn Greenwald himself has like literally gotten out the pitchforks himself, and also joined in on the fun in the past, and then turned around and unretweeted the fucking tweets that they like he was one of the people that also joined in on the hate mob, okay? And Glenn Greenwald does this shit all the time. He's such a fucking hypocrite, dude. Do you think he'll go back to normal when Lula wins in 2022? No, I don't think so. I think, like, I always thought that he was going to, be normal again eventually. That would be nice. But no, he's, like, lost in the sauce so much. I'm sorry. If your content, no matter how much incredible journalism you've done in the past, and Glenn Greenwald is, like, literally someone I looked up to for so fucking long. But, like, no matter how much great work you've done in the past, and even in the recent future or near past that literally ended up with, like, a political prisoner being released from prison, Lula, right? If you're now hyper-focusing on fucking SJWs and, like, liberals and blah, blah, blah all the goddamn time, like you're a fucking neck-bearded YouTube essayist from the Gamergate era, okay? Then you're a freak. Like, shut the fuck up. Chill the fuck out, dude. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, people fucking yell at me all the goddamn time. There are so many screeching psychos on the internet that fucking yell at me. Like, if you betray your own personal values because you get so fucking lost in the sauce about those, like, screeching idiots, and then end up aligning yourself with, like, Republicans because aesthetically they claim not to screech at you, then you're dumb as fuck. I'm sorry. It's insane. The entirety of the grievance. Glenn, this Tucker Carlson thing is really, really off mark. Tucker Carlson is basically organizing as a Nazball demagogue. You're losing a lot of friends here. Whose side are you on? Chelsea Manning made an appearance at a pro-Trump gala. Fucking owned, dude. Fucking owned. If your counter is that Chelsea Manning crashed a pro-Trump gala, okay? Crashed a fascist white supremacist hate brigade party. All selfies were denied. In 2018, and that's your fucking counter to be like, you're so hypocritical, then you understand that, like, organizing with literal fucking fascists is significantly worse. Okay? And that's what Glenn does on a daily basis. Like, Glenn Greenwald literally goes to fucking Tucker Carlson's show. Manning left before the evening speeches ended. Shortly after her departure, another guest told BuzzFeed News that Manning was crashing the gala and suggested that a former whistleblower did not attend because of her political views. Talked about that on the QAnonymous podcast and said it was a mistake and she wasn't there to support them. Even if she was there in good faith, even if she, like, legitimately was like, I want to bridge the divide between the left and the right or some shit, right? Which apparently it happened one time and she wasn't there under those intentions. Okay? If you recognize that, like, attending a fucking right-wing gala or whatever is the worst thing that you can fucking do, then you recognize that, like, literally going on Tucker Carlson is significantly worse than that. Significantly worse than that. What would happen if Glenn Greenwald actually fucking shit on the Republican Party or Fox News for operating as a propaganda apparatus for the interests of literal fucking corporate oligarchs, billionaires, millionaires, and the like? What would happen if he were to go on Tucker Carlson? What would happen in that relationship, I wonder? I wonder what would happen if Glenn used the Tucker Carlson white supremacy power hour. I was outside the gala at the J20 anniversary. She hung out with us anti-fascists before and she went in. It was clear she wasn't there to be like buddy. He's just gonna say, you're a fake leftist for buying a house. Why even bother? I mean, dude. Okay. Let me just say something, okay? I think Glenn Greenwald criticizing me for purchasing a house when he himself lived in a fucking like literal compound and was getting paid like, you know, millions or $500,000 a year from a fucking actual billionaire at The Intercept. Like, I don't give a fuck. Okay, that's the difference. I don't care that he did that. Okay, he legitimately had reasons to pay for a fucking security in a gated compound. Shut the fuck up. Anyone that criticizes him for living in a gated compound is delusional. The man had threats to his life every goddamn fucking day. Okay, the person that his husband actually ended up replacing was murdered. So no, I don't have an issue with him fucking living in a house. But it would be really weird if he like turned that on me when he himself has always been well paid, especially at The Intercept, and now certainly on his own and with his fucking Substack. Crazy stuff. Crazy madness. Known homeowner doesn't hate him for living in a house. Exactly. He replaced someone who was exiled himself due to threats, not because he was killed, just for accuracy. Wait, I thought the former person was like murdered. Wait, what? No, it was a woman, no? Or no, one of his friends in the parliament was murdered though, right? A female politician from the same party. Not Glenn Greenwald, obviously. We're talking about Glenn Greenwald's husband, who is a socialist in Brazil. Marielle Franco. Y'all leave them alone. It's called class solidarity. What? Class solidarity? Are you psychotic, dude? Me defending someone living in a fucking gated community when they have like nonstop threats to their lives for their fucking reporting and their brave reporting at that is not. Oh, okay. I thought you were like actually making a dumbass argument there. There are plenty of things to shit on Glenn Greenwald over. That's just not one of them. It's also insane to like bring up suicide attempts of a person when they were literally being tortured by the American government, like directly being tortured by the American government for whistleblowing, and then simultaneously bring up like Julian Assange. Like, that's fucking insane. Julian Assange's situation is not as bad as the punishment that Chelsea had to withstand, okay? I mean, if he were to be extradited, that would be a different subject altogether, obviously. They would fucking murder him after torturing him, but Julian Assange, that is. As far as Glenn Greenwald goes, like, I don't really have that much more about Glenn. I think he has betrayed his own fucking values numerous times over. I don't know if he like did it for the Substack. I find it really weird. I mean, this is the type of shit that he used to say. The Bill Maher complex, thinking you're brave and subversive for mocking the most marginalized while reliably sycophantic to actual power and presenting reactionary views as a true liberalism. Same specialty as new atheist and UK liberal left intellectual class. Like, this is my fucking guy. This is the Glenn Greenwald that I knew, and this is the Glenn Greenwald that I loved, okay? Old Glenn. Like, that's what the fuck happened to that guy? Like, Maher said it was not unreasonable for Milo to dox a trans woman to protect women and children in bathrooms. Fucking bigot. That piece of shit then turned to his guest and asked, where do you stand on weirdos peeing? Fuck him. The Bill Maher complex, thinking that you're brave and subversive for mocking the most marginalized while reliably sycophantic to actual power. Like, how? How did that person that was... How did the person who, like, fucking reliably shat on, absolutely doo-dooed all over fucking Bill Maher, turn into this fucking hateful person, dude? Was it because, like, you wanted to be in with the cool kids? Like, you wanted to fucking be tight with, like, you know, Red Scare? Is that what happened? Like, that's so pathetic. You know? It's so sad. There's a lot of people like this. Like, Lee Fong and Leighton Woodhouse. Two guys that I love the work of, okay, that, like, had an incredible documentary on white supremacist radicalization on the internet, stuff like that. These guys now are, I mean, not Lee, but like Leighton is literally fucking posting about how he's like proud of following Mike Cernovich. You know what I mean? Like, Mike Cernovich is fucking horrible, dude. That's just crazy. Like, how the fuck do you... Matt Taibbi is like that, too. Like, so many people that I love and respect. Not that it matters. Like, who the fuck am I, right? I'm some fucking dipshit on the internet, on Twitch. But all these people I grew up appreciating the works of, loving, looking up to, it's so sad to see them... It's so sad to see them, like, behave in the same exact way that, like, these reactionary dolts do on the New York Times. You know what I mean? Yeah, I looked up to you, then you bought a house. I know, dude, totally. Like, all I ask of is this, right? How can you be so understandably skeptical of the Democratic Party, which you have every right to be, and openly fucking criticize them, okay? And then you fucking turn around and never have that same level of skepticism for the Republicans. Like, I hate the Democratic Party. I routinely shit on the Democratic Party. You know this already, right? They're fucking monsters in many ways. They're warmongers. They're horrible to the poor. They do not give a fuck about the values that they supposedly run on. They don't even do good politics for the most part. But the Republicans are like 10x that. They don't even hide their cruelty. At least there's an honesty within their behavior. Their violent behavior is more honest than the Democratic Party in some ways. But it blows my mind that you would not do that. The stars of Barry Weiss' Dark Web all have one thing in common with her. They love to mock and scorn marginalized people for their victimhood, while whining as self-pitying victims and martyrs because they have to endure criticisms on their platforms. It's just pitiful. Hi, I'm Barry Weiss, using my New York Times column to complain again about how I'm being brutally silenced like a dissident along with my friends who will be appearing with me on Morning Joe and HBO to talk about this. And oh, don't you hate privileged college kids who self-victimize? Starting a GoFundMe campaign today in light of the brutal repression I just read about in the New York Times being suffered by Barry Weiss, who wrote about it in the New York Times. Sam Harris, Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, Jordan Peterson, and Thiel Capital's Eric Weinstein. Please help these victims. So many media figures love Barry Weiss because even though they make millions of dollars a year to talk about politics on TV for major corporations in New York City and DC, they also regard themselves as victims because they hear mean criticisms on Twitter. She validates their self-pity. I got some hacker friends to help me find images of Barry Weiss's dark web. It's chilling, shocking, and appalling what these brave dissidents have had to resort to. The dangerous places they've been forced to go to just to be heard. Same guy, by the way. What a difference fucking 3 years makes on, how is that the same fucking guy? Mind-boggling to me. I'm gonna add him too. He'll just block you now? I don't think so. Or maybe he will. I don't know. Have him on the stream, let him defend himself with the content. I mean, I know what he's going to do. He's the ultimate. He's a fucking literal lawyer, dude. He's the ultimate debate lord, and he's going to come on and just like do exactly what every other fucking debate lord does, which is like, well, you're not innocent yourself. Look at the things that you said in the past, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to sit there and discuss like what I have said in the past and how my point of view has changed throughout time and how that's obviously it's changed for the better, whereas his point of view has changed throughout time for the worst. So are you just basically saying that like, do you think my issue here is that your point of view changed? No, it's not the hypocrisy of it all. It's the fact that like, you know, you were a much better person in the past and now you're kind of a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's do that so we can fucking cry about all this other shit. What's frustrating is not that Glenn Greenwald was incapable of changing. What's frustrating is that he did change, but for the worse rather than the better. What? Why does the ACLU suck? No, they don't suck, but ACLU is they used to have a history of like doing the unconditional free speech even for Nazis type thing. Yeah, Noam Chomsky does that too. Principled free speech advocates like Noam Chomsky, Glenn Greenwald, many of them often engage in this sort of thing. I think I'm a YIMBY, but I agree that our aspirations for housing should be higher than backyard sheds. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with fucking new developments, man. The problem I have is unregulated fucking developments that end up opening up more shit, that was scary. Opening up more housing, but oftentimes in the form of luxury condominiums, which apparently even saying luxury condominiums is a NIMBYism in the eyes of these YIMBY neolibs. They're just like, they're, you know, Mr. What is this? His son also hates HAWs. Is Noam Chomsky still with us? Wait, what? Did you know Glenn talked about you in the Red Scare podcast? Yeah, I've heard about this, but I don't know what he said because I haven't really been listening to the Red Scare podcast as of late. Oh, wow. So we paid it. So we had a period where he said the right things, clapped, did it for the same reason he's saying the shit he is now. Dude, that's so fucking stupid. He put himself and his fucking loved ones at risk. And he continues to do so. And he did for a very long time with his reporting. That's fucking bullshit. Like, a guy like that turning around and becoming this, like, weirdo fucking anti-SJW dude is significantly sadder than a random dickhead like Dave Rubin becoming that person. Do you understand? Yeah, this is your brain on fucking Twitter, dude. When you think, like, the interactions that you have on Twitter are representative of the real world. I certainly fall into this trap every now and then as well. It's really fucking annoying. It's hard to escape. But the difference is, like, I don't know. I haven't had a situation that has, like, challenged my principles. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to be... Like, I've defended Glenn Greenwald against liberals like H. Bizzle numerous times. He's like, he's a Russian asset. He's a spy, whatever. Like, I've defended his previous work, okay? That's entirely separate than defending him for aligning with, like, reactionary idiots. You understand that, right? Anyway. Can you explain what Glenn did for Lula? Glenn Greenwald and his team in Intercept Brazil where they uncovered the mass conspiracy to vilify Lula and imprison him at the direction of Jair Bolsonaro's current government, where, like, the main fucking guy, the main like head prosecutor, I guess, or the head judge was totally doing it in the most corrupt and morally reprehensible way possible, because he was a very popular left leader. It wasn't under the current government, but yeah, no, I know it wasn't under the current government, but it led to Jair Bolsonaro winning. Yeah. There was complete collaboration between people that then were elevated to the top, to the highest levels in the Jair Bolsonaro government for the actions that they took against Lula. Operation Car Wash. Yeah. Anyway. There's a judge called Sergio Moro coordinating with the prosecution, which is legal. Moro got a spot in the Bolsonaro government after he was elected. Oh, the irony itself is that, like, Glenn Greenwald posted about the article of Chelsea Manning. Didn't you defend her in that article with a variant of what I just said? You said questioning was valid, but given how she went to jail for years, it's clear she's not a fascist and should be engaged in good faith / given her benefit of the doubt. Why would someone who went to jail and was tortured for their beliefs remain friends with someone who has had a very public lurch towards the right and its ecosystem? It is a wonder some of you have enough brain cells to breathe. Yeah. Michael Treacy, pitiful scumbag behavior to publicly denounce someone who is your chief advocate for years and years at a significant personal expense just because you disagree about January 6th or Fox News or whatever other dumb issue you think justifies this kind of self-aggrandizing outburst. Like, let's be real, okay? And I'm not saying this because, you know, she's a Hasanabi head or anything. Chelsea Manning was tortured by the American government, okay? She suffered for her bravery. She's a literal fucking hero. If you, neck-bearded piece of shit Michael Treacy, can fucking criticize her and claim that she's doing something like this because, you know, she's self-aggrandizing, then you can criticize anyone. Like, criticizing Chelsea Manning is like the equivalent of, like, shitting on a fucking a child with cancer, okay? This is a person who literally put their money where their mouth is and suffer the consequences of it, where the imperialist state literally fucking round the clock tortured them to the point of, you know, wanting to commit suicide. It's psychotic that, like, a guy who spends his entire time just, like, throwing out fucking takes on the timeline could turn around. At least when I criticize Glenn Greenwald, I'm doing it out of a place where I want him to not be a fucking douchebag. Okay? And I still, no matter how much I fucking shit on his new takes, I still do it where I'm also totally fucking acknowledging the personal sacrifice that he has had. Like, a guy who got, like, lightly fucking gently pushed by, like, an 800-year-old woman by the name of Maxine Waters and claimed it was assault when he was working at the Young Turks, laughable, okay, is turning around and being like, the person who got fucking tortured for whistleblowing on the American government is doing self-aggrandizing outbursts. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Do you have any, like, reflect on yourself for a brief moment, dude? Are you stupid? Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Holy shit. Absolutely psychotic. Anyway. Dor, Tracy, and Ruben, does TYT owe the world an apology? Yeah. Proof ivermectin is working better than the vaccine. Okay. We're going to talk about ivermectin in a second because obviously Joe Rogan is on it. So, you know, we have to talk about it. Someone send me the fucking whole link. I mean, I guess I'll just go on his Instagram and talk about it. Let's see what Joseph Rogan had to say. Or you could just look at the proof law. Dude. The meta study that you're literally fucking sending has already been rescinded. I'm going to get to it in a second, okay? Unless this is a different one. But just chill, okay? Oh my fucking God. He's like, dude, no, just read the study. First of all, you do not have a PhD in microbiology or pharmacology, and neither do I, okay? So why the fuck are you sending me one study that some dumbass podcaster sent your way that you do not have the wherewithal to fucking comprehend or understand, and you're sending it to me, and I don't have the fucking wherewithal or reading comprehension skills to be able to understand what the fuck's going on? Like, what do you think we're achieving here, okay? It's so fucking stupid. It's like, dude, this study proves it, dude. Like, no, it probably doesn't. Okay, you probably went to the fucking abstract and you looked at the conclusions and you thought that this study proves what you think it does. Stop. And I will get to this in a second too, okay? Joe Rogan got COVID. Let's watch.
So, I got back from the road Saturday night, feeling very weary. I had a headache and I just felt run down. And just to be cautious, I separated from my family, slept in a different part of the house.
Thank you, Mike Pillow, CEO of Mike Pillow Inc. You fucking dumbass, dude. That's a great username. I love when fucking community memes take off like this. I don't understand what's going on with the Instagram filter that Joe Rogan is applying here, where this literally looks like the fucking Zack Snyder edit. You know what I mean? Like COVID, Zack Snyder edit. It's so much longer than it's supposed to be. Also, he kind of looks like shit.
Feeling very weary. I had a headache and I just felt run down. And just to be cautious, I separated from my family, slept in a different part of the house. And throughout the night, I got fevers and sweats and I knew what was going on. So I got up in the morning, got tested, and turns out I got COVID. So we immediately threw the kitchen sink at it. All kinds of meds, monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone, everything. And I also...
Okay, so two things. First of all, or three, more than two things, three things. One, I thought he was vaccinated. I know he's like talked about vaccinations for kids and, you know, younger people and blah, blah, blah. And how, like, you know, they don't need to get vaccinated or whatever. But I thought he himself was vaccinated. I don't know. I'm surprised that he's not. Or maybe he is. And he just did not mention that. That would be weird. Okay. Two, Joe Rogan is like, oh, dude, if you're healthy and you take fucking vitamins, dude, like, you don't need to worry about COVID. But then the moment he gets fucking COVID, whether he's vaccinated or unvaccinated, he's taking like monoclonal antibodies. He's taking ivermectin, zinc, like Z-Pak. What the fuck's going on, dude? I thought it was nothing. Just, you know, I thought it rolled off of you easy. Okay? So that's the thing I don't understand. And lastly, like the monoclonal antibody is at least somewhat more tested than the ivermectin, right? Like monoclonal antibody treatment is not like hydroxychloroquine or the Z-Pak shit. You know what I mean? Or the ivermectin Z-Pak combo. Like that is actually a treatment that is, you know, that has led to some desirable outcomes in the eyes of scientists, at least, right? He's 100%. He is 100% not. He decided after getting it the first time that his antibody level will be high enough from defeating it naturally. Wait, what? What is this fucking title? Toe is legitimately. I'm sorry. That's ableist and fucked up, but.
You're going to be vaccinated and not get it, or you might get it with Delta, and there's no
or you
telling.
can be unvaccinated and not get it too.
That's not going to be the case for unless you're a hermit and never, it's eventually going to.
I've been exposed to it many times and I haven't gotten it. So I got back from the road.
Dude, that's literally a week later, dude. Oh my fucking God. I'm sorry, but I mean, it is funny. I love him. He's such a fucking brain dead ape, but I mean, come on.
So I got back from the road Saturday night. I got up in the morning, got tested, and turns out I got COVID.
So, bro, they missed the best part. He literally said, just don't get vaccinated and don't get sick. So let's finish this.
Got an NAD drip and a vitamin drip, and I did that 3 days in a row. And so here we are on Wednesday, and I feel great. I really only had one bad day.
First of all, he looks like shit. Secondly, these things come in cycles. He might not be out of it, especially because he's not fucking vaccinated. Lastly, there's been steroid users that have gotten that did not get the vaccine because it was not readily available at that time, that got COVID and literally lost fucking 40 pounds over the course of 2 weeks where their lungs collapsed. So I hope that doesn't happen to him.
Sunday sucked, but Monday was better. Tuesday felt better than Monday, and today I feel good. I actually feel pretty fucking good. That's the good news. The bad news is we have to move the Friday show in Nashville. It's going to move to Sunday, October 24th. So that will be the new Nashville date. My apologies to everyone. Obviously, there's nothing that I can control.
Yeah, for someone who constantly, I said this already, but for someone who constantly played it down, he sure is taking a lot of meds, dude. Kind of weird. Maybe it fucking knocked him off his ass. Now, the problem is that other idiots that are in his audience are going to see this and go, oh, dude. And that's the actual fear with ivermectin, is that so many people are I'm not going to take the free vaccine that's safe, okay, and has a very high, unreasonably high efficacy rate, okay, and think well, I'll do the same thing Joe Rogan did, because he has stands. Let's be fucking real, right? He actually has fucking stands, and they listen to him and they do dumb shit when he does dumb shit. So that's the big issue there. So what is really, really frustrating here is that I don't care if ivermectin is a fucking reliable alternative treatment for COVID. I am super on board with it being the case. Okay, I want that to be a good treatment. But the difference between me and dumbass podcasters who are ivermectin is the treatment and they're hiding it from you is that the people that know better have not come to that conclusion yet. And if there's one person who doesn't know better, it's fucking Joe Rogan, okay? Jesus Christ, dude. The difference between me and someone your Facebook aunt is that I recognize my limitations. I'm not going to fucking be oh, dude, ivermectin actually is an incredible treatment and everyone is hiding the truth for one reason or the other. And we should start taking horse dewormer and all these other things, right? Which I know ivermectin can be used on humans as well. It's just a different way to use a different delivery mechanism, but except Merck, which is the pharmaceutical company that creates ivermectin for human use, openly stated not to take it for fucking COVID. So did the FDA. So if you're the kind of dude who's I don't know, there's no FDA authorization, but then you fucking sell on-it pills and suppies, okay, that are not FDA approved at all. You're the kind of dude who literally has taken steroids, okay, not just TRT, but other shit too. And you're the kind of dude who's I don't know, FDA authorization hasn't come yet, but then you turn around and you take ivermectin when the FDA is telling you not to for COVID. You're fucking baboon, dude. It's so dumb. How can you be so stupid? And the worst part about it is it's just like Donald Trump, right? I mean, he's in better shape than Donald Trump, obviously. But just like Donald Trump had like top, like best researchers on the fucking planet, best medical care that money can't even buy. Okay, no one is like helivacking you into the best treatment facility on the fucking planet. Joe Rogan has access to treatments and shit that the average Joe does not. So he can throw the kitchen sink at a fucking problem and even get experimental treatments if need be, okay, and get over it when the average Joe can't. So it's incredibly irresponsible and dangerous to, at this stage, pump ivermectin, which is, you know, not a fucking cure for COVID as far as we know, and science can change. But right now, the literature on the matter does not prove what you think it proves. You can find like 1 or 2 fucking studies that say like ivermectin actually led to better recovery results or whatever in you know, certain subsets of the population or whatever. But like the main study that ivermectin that put ivermectin on the map was falsified. The data was completely falsified. There aren't 19 studies. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to others. The main fucking study in that meta study that everyone loves to fucking link to had falsified numbers in it, which is why it was pulled, but it was too late at that point. Like, it doesn't matter because idiots were running around with it regardless. Okay? And the meta study that was conducted on off of that original study that like greatly improved or greatly fucking made it seem like ivermectin was really good in aiding the COVID recovery efforts, destroyed the results of that fucking meta study when that was pulled. So the meta study was pulled as well. So I'm not like anti-science. I am pro-science. Okay? I believe that if like ivermectin is good and can be helpful, I would rather wait, just like I said the same exact thing about the fucking vaccines. I would rather wait until those who are profoundly smarter than me, like in unimaginable ways, that have spent their entire lives dedicated to this shit, tell me that they've gone through the rigorous testing and figured out that it's actually good. Okay? You want a Nobel Prize for being safe and generic? It doesn't matter, dumbass. It won a Nobel Prize for being safe and generic for anti-parasite medication, not for fucking COVID. Okay? So when you're sitting there shitting out your intestinal lining thinking that there's worms in your fucking body, like the rest of these goons that have been taking ivermectin, remember that, okay? You're shitting out your intestinal lining because you're taking an anti-parasitic medication for no reason. No, it's not just safe for fucking horses. Like, it's for humans too. Of course, there's use for humans as well. Just like ketamine does, which is horse tranquilizer. Just like clenbuterol is literally asthma medication for horses, and yet also used by humans. Joe Rogan should know. Not that he's using clenbuterol, but you know. For real, and women getting the vaccine is stopping them from being able to have children? Wait, what? That's not true. This is just made up. There is no... You are just making shit up, okay? Of course. Are you a Republican or a Democrat? Are you a Republican or a Democrat? Are you saying yes on Newsom or no? Are you Republican? Are you Republican? Trump or Biden? Answer. And then, boom, immediately fucking runs into account created 2 hours ago. Okay, get the fuck out of here. Like, you were willing to get the vaccine before the same rigorous testing? That's not true! I was willing to get the vaccine because of the rigorous testing, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? That's literally not true. Do you want to know why we're not talking about like the fucking 7 other companies right now that also were a part of Operation Warp Speed and also were looking to fucking rush and mass produce a vaccine? Because they didn't get through the rigorous testing procedures, okay? That's why we're talking about Pfizer and Moderna and AstraZeneca and not like the tens of other fucking pharmaceutical corporations that also were a part of the fucking program that failed in creating a successful fucking vaccine. Jesus Christ. It's for humans too, fucking himbo. Read what chat is saying. Human ivermectin is for humans. The ones these apes are using isn't. Stop saying 2 dumb apes are going to misread it. Yeah, just because ivermectin is, you know, there's a specific type of ivermectin that is created for humans and not for horse consumption, doesn't mean the one that you get from the feed store is actually going to save you. As a matter of fact, it's probably going to cause blindness or fucking liver damage or shed out the remaining fucking parts of your intestinal lining that you haven't shed out yet. The semi-anonymous site claims to be a real-time meta-analysis of all the published studies on ivermectin, collating an impressive 60 pieces of research. It's flashy, well-designed, and at face value appears very legitimate. The benefits that this website show for ivermectin are pretty amazing. 96% lower mortality based on 10,797 patients worth of data is quite astonishing. Sounds like we should all be using ivermectin, except, well, these numbers are totally meaningless. Digging into the site, you're immediately hit with this error. That's not how p-values work at all. Any stats textbook will show you why the statement is entirely untrue. The probability that an ineffective treatment generated results as positive as 60 studies to date is estimated to be 1 in 193 billion. The chemical itself is the same. The problem is people are taking horse dosages. No, the problem also is that people are taking ivermectin in general. Like, that's the problem, okay? Stop taking untested medication that doctors and professionals are telling you not to take, thinking that you're going to get, like, immunity or thinking that you're going to have an expedient recovery as a consequence of this fucking drug that has not been proven to work on COVID patients. You're taking an anti-parasitic drug for a fucking virus. Okay? What? Dude, Joe Rogan is shitting out his intestines? What the fuck? Oh, you're showing me that old clip. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Hold on, I want to watch this real quick.
No. Yeah. No, I mean, I would if I felt like I needed it. But I just feel like if you maintain your health, and I think for some people it's important. I think for some people it's good.
Are they gonna make people take it?
Even if you were given more articles of research, you wouldn't change your position? That is a blindingly stupid fucking argument that I don't know how to respond to. It is such a fucking idiotic assumption that you're making that, like, you are literally making up a person in your mind and joking about that person that you have made up in your mind. You understand that, right? That's not my position at all. As a matter of fact, I said the exact opposite. I said that tomorrow, if there were numerous studies conducted on ivermectin and it was shown to be viable for recovery, I would still urge people to get the vaccine and then also be safe and totally be on board with people taking ivermectin. Not the fucking horse paste kind, obviously. But if the fucking main studies that are promoting ivermectin are full of faulty and debunked data, debunked studies that have been pulled, and they're full of fucking faulty information that corrupts the analysis from a meta-study, then yeah, of course I'm not going to fucking be like, yeah, we should still try it out. I bargain he will fare well after the monoclonal and talk about how the ivermectin was helping him. Yeah, 100%. Hey man, if rat poison was proven to have medical benefits through biased and obviously skewed research, would you boof it? Yeah, exactly. Like, that's so fucking stupid. I don't understand how anything I'm saying is like falling on deaf ears in the minds of some dumbasses. I don't get it. Like, I don't know why people say, like, your point of view won't change. My point of view on... Okay, here's an example of a point of view that that I originally speculated that was incorrect, and when more data came out, I changed my mind. When new evidence came out. For example, I thought that the Black Lives Matter rallies were going to cause spikes. Like, no matter what. Impossible for them not to. I was like, there's no shot. Numerous studies were conducted in the aftermath of the Black Lives Matter rallies, and in areas where there were Black Lives Matter rallies, you didn't actually see as significant of a spike as areas that had reopened for regular foot traffic. And the study's conclusion showed, at the time, that the BLM rallies were attended by mask wearers, for the most part, and were outside and outdoors, and there was overall significantly less foot traffic in those areas, even though it was densely populated outdoors, and people were fucking protesting on the streets. But 2,000 people protesting on the street looks like a big gathering. But that's nothing in comparison to 500,000 people going in and out of shops for the entire day. Even though one looks dense and the other does not. That was the main conclusion of numerous studies that were conducted with respect to the Black Lives Matter protests and how they did not surprisingly contribute to an overall spike in COVID cases. I originally thought that they absolutely would. I was wrong when evidence came out, and I recognized that I was wrong and changed my mind because that's what you're supposed to do. So the same concept stands for ivermectin. If there are numerous studies conducted, okay, on the efficacy and safety of ivermectin and how it is leading to a faster recovery rate for people that have COVID, then of course I will change my position. That's how this works. I am not a fucking idiot. That's the difference. And the other part of the problem is like, it's not like ivermectin studies are like being pushed aside. Okay. I encourage that there are more studies on the benefits of ivermectin. But as it stands, all of the data that we have leads to a false sense of security amongst fucking baboons who think that they don't need to take the vaccine because their favorite podcaster told them horse dewormer works better. Okay? Statement from Frontiers Journal on the ivermectin paper. Upon further scrutiny, it was revealed that the article made a series of strong, unsupported claims based on studies with insufficient statistical significance and at times without the use of control groups. Further, the authors promoted their own specific ivermectin-based treatment, which is inappropriate for a review article and against our editorial policies. There it is, dude. Let's take a look. Let me just like verify this. Oh yeah, yeah. Frontiers removes the. There it is. It removes the controversial ivermectin paper pre-publication. This is one that like everyone fucking points to still. And then the worst part is the people who have like delusionally and blindly followed through on like ivermectin is actually good. Literally turn around and say, oh, they removed it because fake news, like because, you know, they're scared because ivermectin is easy and cheap rather than the vaccines, which are fucking free. It's free. It's already paid for. Let alone the reality that Merck, which is the fucking main producer of ivermectin, the pharmaceutical corporation that stands to benefit the most from the mass usage of their fucking drug, have personally came out and said, don't use ivermectin for COVID. It is untested and unproven. At this point, you will not listen to any manner of reason. It is so fucking stupid. So just die then. I don't know. Like, I don't care then. Okay, sorry. If you don't want to take the fucking vaccine and instead you're going to take something that like the FDA and the fucking pharmaceutical corporation itself has told you not to fucking take, then just die, I guess. I don't know what to do. And I'm going to make fun of you when that happens, though. I'm just letting you know. If you fucking get COVID, you didn't take the necessary precautions, and you refuse to listen to fucking professionals, and you listen to your favorite podcaster instead, or rather, you listen to your fucking dumbass like Facebook aunt, and you fucking died, or had long-term health complications as a consequence of getting COVID, I'm not going to feel too bad for you, dude. Because you had every opportunity to not do this, okay? Holy shit, you're like turning me into a fucking Republican. You're fucking dumb American trash, says Exalted Bro. Thanks, man.
Joe Rogan just announced.
It's like, are you going to backtrack on this again and say that they're victims of misinformation? Oh, that's what he was saying. I mean, they are still victims of misinformation, but they make it surely incredibly difficult for me to fucking feel sympathy for them, especially if they're in this chat right now. They're still victims of misinformation, and the only reason why I still fucking scream about this shit instead of being like, all right, fuck yourself then, is because I do care, ultimately. I don't want chatters' parents to fucking die. The FDA doesn't approve other medicines because they won't profit for them? Yeah, dude, totally. The FDA is profiting from Pfizer. You are correct. Please, can you not fucking troll me, 17-month subscriber, especially when it comes to this shit? Like, it's not funny, bait. I'm gonna ban you, okay? Like, it's not funny. Like, stop presenting yourself as a fucking idiot in the chat for the memes, okay? Why the fuck are you lending credence to this Toe Rogan shit? Because I've been live for 3 hours and 36 minutes, and I've already fucking talked about abortion and the Supreme Court extensively, my dude. That's why partial recall. I'm not gonna fucking cover the entire day with how fucking horrible the Supreme Court is. But he's right, please. You can't really be the only one who doesn't see capitalism in all this. Oh my God, dude, I do. Guess what? It is in the fucking benefit of capital owners for you fucking hogs to get back to work, you dumb wage slaves, and go back to consumption, more importantly. Okay? That's precisely why they want everyone to be vaccinated, so we can go back to business as usual. Do you not understand this? That's why they would not fucking flub something as huge as a fucking vaccine that they're promoting mass inoculation campaigns on, because a bunch of dead people is not good for them. Okay? A bunch of dead slaves is not good for anyone. It's not good for business. Jesus fucking Christ. That's if there was like an alternative reason for why these people would, like, you know, benefit Yeah, they're going to make money. They're always going to make money regardless. But it's so fucking dumb. It's so idiotic that you can't comprehend that, like, it's in the best interest of every single corporation for you to get vaccinated and no longer fucking get knocked out for 2 weeks sitting on a goddamn ventilator for a month as you try to survive. Like, that's not good. You dying, or rather shutting down ICUs, is bad for business.
On social media that he's in fact sick with COVID-19. He does seem to be doing better, and we wish him a speedy recovery. He also did announce a wide range of medications that he took to treat COVID-19, which I want to discuss with you today.
Got all kinds of meds, monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone, everything. And I also got an NAD drip and a vitamin drip, and I did that 3 days in a row.
Let's take each one of these on the list, starting with monoclonal antibodies. This is actually a legitimate treatment that's being used widely across the US to prevent severe cases of COVID-19, hospitalizations, and deaths. The way it works is the pharmaceutical companies actually created artificial antibodies that are actually similar to the ones your body makes when it fights off COVID-19. DeSantis in Florida is actually praising this treatment, trying to get more and more people to get it. There is a set of inclusion and exclusion criteria. Basically, it's made for individuals who are at high risk for having severe COVID, but are not yet sick enough to be hospitalized, because there is a limited benefit for those patients. Next up, we have ivermectin, which is an anti-parasitic medication used in both humans and animals. Lately, there's been speculation about ivermectin being used to prevent severe cases of COVID-19. However, this hasn't quite played out in the quality research. There have been smaller studies that showed some initial promise, but it hasn't yet held up when we've done serious research. There are some trials still ongoing, but this medication is far from proving a benefit. And this is really important to note, because there are individuals across the US who believe in this medication so much that they're actually taking their animals' medication to treat themselves. Folks, do not do this. It is incredibly dangerous. The dosages are not the same. The types of medications are not the same. And we don't yet have proof that it works for COVID-19. There are other medications, there are other therapies that we have available. Do not use ivermectin unless it's for an approved FDA use. Next up, we have...
I can't take this guy seriously until I see how well he dances to fucking TikTok beats. Okay? I'm sorry. His 4 Webbies and his Dr. Mike neon sign is not doing it for me. Okay?
Z-Pak, azithromycin. It's an antibiotic that is frequently used for ear infections, respiratory infections. This one makes the least amount of sense to me as a doctor. Joe Rogan went on and said that he has a virus. This is an antibiotic.
Ivermectin at the right doses have been proven to destroy the virus. A published study shows that enough horse dewormer will kill the host at lethal doses. Once the host dies, within a few hours, the virus is gone as well. Thus, it is 100% effective against the COVID-19 virus. Yeah, can't have COVID if you're fucking dead.
That's used for bacteria. The two don't really go hand in hand. In fact, we advocate to not take antibiotics when you have a viral infection, because it actually complicates the picture, creates more antibiotic resistance, chances of antibiotic-associated diarrhea. Basically, problems that you do not want to have. I don't want to speculate on Joe Rogan's health here, because he may have an underlying pneumonia with his COVID-19 infection caused by a bacteria, but because he didn't say so, this one just doesn't make sense to me. Next up, we have prednisone, which is a steroid medication that we use to control inflammation. This one...
Yeah, I was about to say, that shit is like, that's what kicks you in the fucking ass so you feel like $1 million when you're dying, okay? My man took like every fucking thing in the book to have a 3-day recovery thinking that he's doing all right, when like half the people don't have access to that level of fucking... to that level of medication.
Also is used in hospitals, but it's generally reserved for our more sick patients. This is because the purpose of using steroids is to actually blunt the immune response and lower inflammation. The tricky thing with treating COVID-19 patients, severely ill COVID-19 patients, is that they have an overabundance of this inflammation known as a cytokine storm. And to help combat that cytokine storm, we actually use prednisone to tone down your body's immune system response. But if you're otherwise healthy and feeling okay and are not hospitalized, prednisone might not play a role for you. Again, here, I don't want to speculate on the severity of Joe Rogan's illness, but I want you to know why we prescribe these medications. The next two I'm going to group in one, vitamin and NAD IV therapy. This is where marketers like to prey on you. Prey on your fears surrounding COVID-19. Folks, there is no proof either of these things help with COVID-19, preventing it, making it less severe, none of the above. And for individuals who eat a well-balanced diet and already take supplements, you do not need more of these supplements. In fact, the studies have shown over and over again that not only do these things not help, they could potentially hurt. I actually pulled up a website here with NAD therapy, and the promises they make are absolutely absurd. 1, it aids in addiction recovery. 2, it reduces pain. 3, it improves cognitive function. 4, it boosts energy. 5, it improves athletic performance. 6, helps with weight management. 7, reverses signs of aging. 8, delays or prevents the onset of certain
hell yeah, baby, I'm taking it.
diseases, and apparently also helps with COVID. Folks, do not fall for these marketing scams. You do not need either of these for COVID-19. No legitimate doctor would be recommending these for you. And the biggest issue I have with all these medications being taken all at once, they could potentially interact. You know, when I prescribe a medications, one of the first questions I ask a patient is, are you on any others? And the reason is, we can actually look at our data.
To the people who are literally like, oh, dude, Dr. Mike went on a fucking yacht. Like, first of all, he's sexy. He's a fucking doctor. Of course he went on a fucking yacht and partied without a mask. He's a hypocrite, okay? What are you going to do? You go to the hospital and your doctor's smoking cigarettes. You're going to be like, nope, sorry, I don't want gallbladder removal surgery. Actually, I'll take it back. I'll take my chances, doctor. I saw you smoking a cigarette. Yeah, doctors are fucking pieces of shit sometimes, okay? Like, what are you going to fucking be like, oh, nope, I don't believe you about prednisone. You were partying. Yeah, he's a hypocrite, okay? But no, I'm not defending him because he's a big streamer or hot.
Database and see if there's interactions between certain meds. But when you're taking medications for unapproved uses, or even medications that don't have scientific validity to them, you won't know if there are any potential interactions, and it can become quite dangerous. And remember,
like when I fucking shit on bad doctors that are advocating for like fake miracle cures and shit, I'm not shitting on them because they're hypocrites. Like, I don't care. The hypocrisy is just seasoning on top of that, okay? Like, I'm shitting on them because they're giving you something, they're lying to you, giving you a false sense of comfort and security where none exists, okay? And getting them to, and getting you to not fucking take life-saving preventative vaccines that are safe.
We as doctors, the CDC, the FDA, we are working countless hours trying to find a potential treatment or cure for COVID-19. And you know what we have come up with? A vaccine that actually works. A vaccine that has a really, really good rate of decreasing hospitalizations and severe illness. That is...
He's dated like 5 Miss Americas? No shit, he's a fucking hot-ass doctor with like a lot of clout. Dude, he's got 7 million subs. Are you kidding me? Of course he fucked like 5 Miss Americas, dude. I mean, what are you thinking? Like, is that confusing to you? He's literally a doctor. He could fuck 5 Miss Americas just on that alone. Hassan is so lucky he's tall. Otherwise, shitting on people so regularly would be so difficult. That's not true. But unless you think that I'm like, you just hate doctors because you're anti-Semitic. I mean, I'm not anti-Semitic, nor have I don't understand that connection, nor have I ever hated doctors. So I don't know. Like, not a single part of that statement was correct. Like, literally, not a single part of that. How can you drop a fucking dime in there and just have, like, not a single tangible truth in there at all? What a take. Anyway, at least he owned up to his hypocrisy and talked about it. There are worse people to flame. Oh, he did? One MBA doctor you seem to hate? Yeah, I think that doctors that get... If you have an MD, you should not be allowed to get an MBA. Like, I think that those two unironically go against one another. Anyway, so it's really fucking dumb. Stop sending me the stupid link of stop sending me the fucking dumb link that is from underscore. Like, we already covered it. We covered it days ago. The share zone predicted ivermectin deworming juice for people. Oh no. Good job, dude. It's their fault now. Shadow's projection because he's you of medicine instead of politics, let's be honest. You have no house and don't fuck. What about doctors and nurses who refuse to get vaccinated? People who don't trust science shouldn't be doctors, right? Yes. But also, the fucking percentage of doctors who refuse to get vaccinated is like 2%. So that alone should tell you, like, 98% of doctors have gotten vaccinated, dude. 96 were vaccinated back in 96% were vaccinated back in fucking June, and 50% at that time that hadn't been vaccinated yet were saying they were going to get vaccinated. So, you know, if you're like 98% of doctors, but I'm going to focus on the 2%, like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, now there are more nurses that are unvaxxed, and you know, nurses are, you can be a hog and a nurse at the same time. Okay. Anyway, I vaccinated in February. Most of us healthcare workers aren't morons. Yeah, exactly. And also, people greatly overestimate the amount of unvaxxed nurses too. I think it's closer to like 70+%, along with the rest of the like higher than the rest of the population. But people always, I see like insane numbers where people will just be like, oh my God, like only 40% of nurses are vaccinated. That's like not true. Anyway, remember the time when Bill Burr fucking owned Joe Rogan for not wearing a mask?
Fucking assholes on my street, walking around, no masks.
You want people to walk down the street with a mask on?
Let's not start this, Joe.
Do you, though?
Let's not start this. Okay?
Let's start it.
I don't want to start this bullshit. I'm not going to sit here with no medical degree, listening to you with no medical degree, with an American flag behind you, smoking a cigar, acting like we know what's up. Better than the CDC.
It's true.
All I do is I watch.
That's literally my take. I agree with this take 100%. It's like, dude, we're dickheads. Like, why do you think like your aunt on Facebook knows more than the fucking doctors, you idiot?
The news once every 2 weeks. I'm like, mask or no mask? Still mask? All right, mask. That's all I give a fuck about. I don't care. I just love how wearing a mask became like this fucking like soft thing that you were doing, like being courteous. Being courteous. Why is it for bitches? That was so stupid.
Wearing a mask. First of all,
oh God, you're so tough with your fucking open nose and throat. Gee, Joe, and your 5 o'clock shadow. This is a man right here. A man doesn't wear a mask.
Nor because the amount of teachers who don't get vaxxed and are getting students sick. Yeah, I mean, dude, didn't 2 teachers die in a Texas, like a school in Texas had to shut down because 2 teachers died in a row that were not vaccinated. And they had to shut the school down in its entirety. 100% you will mauled. They wouldn't have left Americans behind. I'm not going to say anything. The things that I want to say right now would get me, 821 right now. I don't want to say anything. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. They do have a tendency to take care of Americans, including towers too, like Tower 7. Didn't leave that behind. I'm just memeing. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You know, stay woke. Yeah, I mean, these people should all be in jail. Like, literally, every single one of them. So, strange. Yeah, Texas school district is now, or Texas school is closed after COVID kills 2 teachers in 1 week, dude. 40 years old, one of the teachers was. 40 years old. Of course, the school teacher is, or the school district is one where, in Waco, where you don't have to fucking wear masks or no vaccine mandates, no mask mandates, nothing. Good shit, dude. Is Texas turning into the new Florida? Brother, it's Texas. They've always, guys, Texas has always been this way. I don't know why people, forgot about Texas. It's literally Texas, bro. What the fuck? Texas is consistently trying to be the worst state in America when Mississippi exists, okay? They will never fucking... They try... They won't be able to reach that goal, but they're trying really hard. Anyway, Sweet Green CEO is anti-vax, anti-mask, and pro-salad. Yeah, I don't care. Is Oklahoma worse than Texas? Not recently. Texas has tried really hard to fucking make Oklahoma look good. I can't wait, though. I can't wait for Joe Rogan to come back.
It is what it is. Crazy times we're living in. But a wonderful, heartfelt thank you to modern medicine for pulling me out of this so quickly and easily. And my love to all of you.
My dude, you look great. More than usual, dude. You don't look good. If you think you look good, I'm going to be honest with you. You don't. Okay? You look bad. More so than usual. Okay? Ken had the best pick response to that. I'm so disappointed in Joe Rogan. Why? Like, what were you expecting? Joe's having some crazy side effects. So having trouble with parents and not getting the vaccine. Could you give some insight on Dr. Peter McCullough? I have links and wanted to Prime so I could post, but I accidentally used it while sleeping on my phone. Lol. What? Dr. Peter McCullough? I don't know who that is. Did you know it's legal for doctors to... Dude, this guy's been asking this nonstop. Did you know it's legal for doctors to give pelvic exams under anesthesia without consent in most states? Like, look at this. Since 239, he hasn't stopped spamming this. What happened, chatter? Did a doctor give you a fucking pelvic exam without consent under anesthesia? Is that what happened? Why are you posting about this? What is the relevance of this thing that you are bringing up? You want one? Like, I don't understand it. I love that Joe Rogan was like, you know, I ended his video with a thank God for modern medicine, but also, you know, fuck the vaccine. Abortion drama?
On the Texas law, why does the president support abortion when his own Catholic faith teaches abortion is morally wrong?
Well, he believes that it's a woman's right, it's a woman's body, and it's her choice.
Why does the president, who does he believe then should look out for the unborn child?
He believes that it's up to a woman to make those decisions, and up to a woman to make those decisions with her doctor. I know you've never faced those choices, nor have you ever been pregnant, but for women out there who have faced those choices, this is an incredibly difficult thing. The president believes their rights should be respected. Go ahead. I think we got to move on.
See, look, listen, notice how she can be fucking actually sweaty girl boss when it's an issue that, like, you know, she's had to put some time and consideration into. That's what happens when you're not an Afghan civilian, okay? That's why that's the difference between, like, American foreign policy and American white women talking about abortion. She's right. She's absolutely right. This was a fucking great response. You mean when we agree with her, but I get you. I'm just saying that, like, that's an issue that impacts her and people like her, so she understands. No, there are fucking women who are pro-life. I know, dude. There are. We already talked about it. There's doctors that refuse to take the vaccine too. That doesn't fucking mean anything. Yes. Took offense to the question, and she had every right to. I agree. Misogyny level 2. This is Are you saying I'm being misogynistic? I'm using an example of Jen Psaki coming at a situation from the heart, and with the appropriate reaction and response, while literally saying that she's saying the right thing here. I wish there was the same level of empathy for you know, feminism that extended beyond like abortion rights, which are true. No, the message was held by Automod saying misogyny level 2. Yes, Candace Owens, like, actually had a situation where, you know, her reaping ended up with the sowing. Holy crap, I just received an email from a COVID testing facility that they are refusing to administer a test to me because they don't like my politics. Insane. I'm banned from making sure I don't accidentally spread COVID. Going live with the email on Instagram in 10 minutes. I love that, like, she got denied this test, which is, you know, it's kind of fucked up, to be honest with you. It's especially because it's like a test. You know what I mean? That's what happens when it's a private lab, though. And yes, for the she must be lying crowd, I would be plastering the email. But, like, her first thing that she's doing is like, I'm gonna make money out of this. Oh, here's the email, by the way. It's pretty funny. Ultimately, I do feel conflicted about this because it's still a matter of public safety for Candace Owens to get COVID tested, regardless of her fucking charlatan-like nature. So I'm not in agreement with that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've just learned of this testing request, and as the owner of this business, I'm going to refuse this booking and deny service. We cannot support anyone who has proactively worked to make this pandemic worse by spreading misinformation, politicizing, and discouraging the wearing of masks, and actively dissuading people from receiving life-saving vaccinations. The only other local testing option here is the free kiosk by City Hall. They mail their tests to Texas and have inconsistent result times, do not take appointments, so it's walk-in only midday weekends in their back alley. My team and myself have worked overtime to exhaustion, unpaid and underpaid this past year, spending our own capital to ensure our community remains protected. It would be unfair to them and to the sacrifices we have all made this year to serve you, Susanna. So the problem here is that, like I get the frustration with someone like Candace Owens, but, you know, you're she's gonna spread COVID in your community, making things worse. So it's probably best to like let her get tested. I'm gonna be honest, because I don't think this like deters people from like I don't think this is gonna get any conservatives to be like, I can't believe this. Like I'm no longer getting. I can't believe they're denying me medical service. Having said that, though, if they didn't have enough like bandwidth to handle it, then yeah, they're making this decision. That's one thing. As I've said, in a triage situation, I'm a 100% advocate for allowing other people who are vaccinated to cut the line in front of those who are taking up ICU space because they were selfish and idiotic and did not get the vaccine. Like in an instance where there's someone who was vaccinated and still needs ICU care, and an unvaccinated person, if it's a triage situation, totally on board with fucking saying, sorry, you didn't get vaccinated. Do I wish they had let her get tested? Yes. Am I outraged that they denied her service? No. Oh, yeah. Concern trolling? You don't understand Susanna at all? No, this is not concern trolling. What the fuck are you talking about? What? Why can't I have opinions that don't align with yours sometimes, man? Like, I think that if you want to get tested, doesn't matter. You should definitely get tested because testing is good for epidemiological purposes. It's good for spread prevention. It's actually fucking good. Overall, it's like the right thing to do. If she tested positive, you think she would go out of her way not to spread it? I don't know. I can't make assumptions like that, but ultimately it doesn't matter. I wish I had this happen in a restaurant or something because she deserves to have her life inconvenienced along with all right-wing grifters. Sucks that it's for an essential service, though. Yeah, denying her from getting a test is actually not good. I mean, it feels good in that moment. And, you know, I totally understand the frustrations. I think she's disgusting and an absolute fucking idiot. But ultimately, like, if she were to turn around and be like, can I get vaccinated? Are you going to say no to her getting vaccinated because she's been like an anti-vaxxer? No, I would literally blast that off to every fucking... I would violate HIPAA and literally just be like, sorry, this is a matter of public knowledge. That has to be public knowledge. This fucking bitch got vaccinated. That's what I would do. I'd be like, this fucking psycho literally got fucking vaccinated. I would do a press release, blast it to every fucking outlet.
You taking that vaccine?
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would if I felt like I needed it. But I just feel like if you maintain your health, and I think for some people it's important. I think for some people it's good.
Are they gonna make people take it in order to go overseas?
I'm worried about that. I don't like that.
I don't like needles. I want to know how people fare over X amount of months. Like what happens in 6 months after the vaccine? How long does it last for? Do you need it again next year?
Dude, Joe Rogan is the funniest person to deny the vaccine because, like, you know, he does steroids and literally sells like non-approved supplements. Like, it's so silly, dude. You are such a silly bitch. They didn't deny her a test. They just downgraded. No, they personally, a private facility, denied her a test, which she doesn't have a right to. Don't get me wrong. I just think that it's not the smart thing to do in that situation when, you know, vaccine card fakers got arrested. Mildly interesting. Oh, is this the big bearded guy that like got them? Not New York City arresting 12 people for selling vaccine cards for $250 and giving them federal charges. Yeah, that's good. They should literally go to jail for that. It's anti-vax mama, right? I know the guy. We talked about the guy who got them arrested, dude. The guy who like did the research and like handed this as a gift. What's his fucking name? Izzy Ant or something? Isn't that what it is? Does it bother you that since your debate with Larry Elder, he's almost governor and you're a degenerate Twitch streamer? No. Here's the bearded guy. Oh, here it is.
COVID on the rise and the vaccine readily available, more and more businesses are requiring their employees be vaccinated. And to prove that, they need a vaccination card. Now, this is a problem for people who don't want to be vaccinated, and there's some people out there who are turning this into a business opportunity. Meet 5-star Jazzy. She has over 300,000 followers on Instagram and quite a few hustles. You'll notice in her description, founder of Anti-Vax Mama 2. Yeah, that's because Anti-Vax Mama, her original account, got deleted, and I suspect it's because she posted stuff like this. Advertising that she's selling fake COVID-19 vaccine cards for $200 a pop, but they'll have real lot numbers on them. Now she's continuing this from her new account and even from her main account. She posted this the other day explaining that she has a backlog of messages and also that she's looking to expand her team. So if you have computer access at hospitals or CVS, DM me ASAP. Now that led me to believe that she's either stealing existing lot numbers and putting them on the cards, or she's getting someone to enter people into the system that haven't been vaccinated to generate their own lot numbers. But I didn't want to make assumptions, so I decided to message her and ask. I told her I work at a Walgreens. She said to text her ASAP. She asked if I had access to enter the vaccine information into the system, and then asked because I'm in Florida, how do people verify here that they're in the system, because in New York they have an app. And the person she has in New York doing this can provide the numbers that the people can check in the app. I explained in Florida we have a site you can do that on and asked what exactly she needed. She told me she provides the person's name, date of birth, address, the vaccination date, asked if I can backdate them, and then has me enter them into the system to generate lot numbers. So I would enter them in the system as if they had just received the vaccine, which they have not, but the system would believe that they have. And if someone checked those lot numbers, it would say their name. That made me curious how many people were doing this. She told me the woman in New York that's doing it for her, she's given $100 a person, she's doing at least 30 people a day, and that woman's making $10,000 a week. Do the math on that. On how many people are walking around with legal documents saying they're vaccinated, and they are not. She also asked if I could provide her COVID-19 cards. Now you may ask, why would someone take the risk and do something like this? Well, it seems in her case it's at least due in part to the fact that she believes that the vaccines are sterilizing children as part of the gay agenda. Now, she's not going to be doing this any longer. The FBI's already been involved. But when I hear people say things like, why bother getting the vaccine? People are getting COVID who are fully vaccinated. I have to wonder, are they?
Have you been helping keep the Texas abortion snitch hotline full of fake shit? What? I would never do that, sir. How dare you ask such a question? That's so silly. I would never, ever in a million years say or do such a horrible thing to keep up these snitch hotlines busy for no reason and waste their fucking funds on dumb shit.
Described anti-vax mama who sold hundreds of fake COVID vaccine cards. So this was discovered by a TikTok user who goes by the name of Tizzy Ent.
Clifford would allegedly have a friend who worked at a medical clinic fraudulently enter people into New York City's immunization database. If this sounds familiar to you, it's because you've had everyday people like Michael from Tizzy Entertainment exposing this scheme on TikTok.
I love this dude.
The stripper scheme was uncovered by this citizen sleuth. Why did you feel passionately about taking this scam down?
This is potentially extremely dangerous, and I couldn't sit by and watch that happen.
13 co-conspirators were also arrested.
So, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I should be expecting that blue checkmark win. That's a good bit of press, and that's just from this thing. I have other press. That seems to be the thing you all care about. But TikTok in particular, I think it's awesome that this all came out. Every bit of press that mentioned me called me a TikToker, mentioned TikTok, that it blew up on TikTok, when really it blew up on Twitter. But TikTok got a lot of free press out of this. How did TikTok respond to all of this, you might ask? They just gave the video I made that exposes her, that's getting all of this attention, a community guidelines violation. I don't even know what... Your reporting system is so broken. I'm not going to hold my breath for the blue check. Feel free to prove me wrong, though. But everyone else, what's up? Holla at your boy.
Damn, my man is chasing that check, dude. Chasing the cloud. This was pretty funny. A fake Moderna vaccine card leads to a woman's arrest in Hawaii. Dude, that's so indecent that you went to a fucking island, dude, that has a limit to how many fucking hospitals they can physically have in that space with a false vax card, potentially putting people in serious trouble, dude. You're a fucking piece of shit. Throw them in the volcano, dude. I swear to God. From what the investigator said, what Tizzy reported didn't help much since they were already under investigation for the things he was accusing them for. He just got a dub for it from the media. Good for him. Moderna. I got that Moderna. Let's say I get intimate with a girl. She sees my foreskin, then calls it gross and leaves. How should I feel? This theoretically happened. Dude, I love this. That's peak Twitch chat, okay? That right there is just Twitch chat at its best. Perfectly timed. So fucking good. Okay. Theoretically, that happened. You know? Theoretically, that happened, right? Well, guess what? That's body shaming king. And also, you're an uncut king. You know what I mean? You're an uncut gem. So, find a lady that will appreciate your anteater penis. Okay? That's right. I said it. And I meant it.